We are live. So I'll give people some time to find their way. But if you don't know, this is Double AR. I'm on Asha Renew from asharenew.com. Today I'm going to speak on how to glitch the matrix, specifically for skeptics and non-believers. What's up, Tymel? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's up, Tony? What's up, Rail? I appreciate everybody checking in. What's up, Harmony? Peace, God. You know what I mean? Now, of course, the purpose of this video is to acknowledge. What's up, Ted Mez? This is to acknowledge that those of us who are into the occult as a full-time lifestyle, we acknowledge that there are just going to be people who don't believe, who are skeptical about the occult in general, because it is deemed pseudoscience, right? What's up, Karim? What's up, King? Where have I been? I've been putting out content. We're just going to keep putting out content. Content is king, right? So I'm just going to keep hitting y'all with content. You know what I mean? Whether you view the public stream, whether you're on the website, content is being dropped all over the place. At this point, I would say I have about 900 pieces of content online, because it's about like 600 videos publicly. Then I have about 300 posts on my website at this point. So it's about 900 pieces of content at this point. So, coming from someone who lives this every single day, who has made a lifestyle from the occult, of course, someone who does this would be more qualified to answer these questions versus someone, let's just say, who studies this but doesn't live it. So let me lay the foundation here. Let me give you definitions so that we are all on the same page, so that there is no confusion. When I say the occult, or occult knowledge, or occult science, I am specifically speaking about three schools of thought, or three fields of science. In particular, numerology, astrology, and alchemy. So whenever I reference the occult, I can't speak for anyone else, but whenever I reference the occult, I am speaking about one of those three sciences, and sometimes a combination of them. And of course, I can speak Kabbalistically, but I keep more of the Kabbalistic stuff on the website because, of course, you have to be into that to understand it. So it would be no point of me coming on here speaking Hebrew and utilizing the Hebrew alphabet, and people are not familiar with the system. So it's for those who are familiar with the system. So now that we understand what I mean when I reference the occult, now we deal with the problem of, well, are those not pseudosciences? So now we have to deal with the perspective of people are in disbelief or skeptical about these topics and this lifestyle because it's deemed pseudoscience. You look up astrology right now, you look up numerology right now, you look up alchemy right now, they're going to tell you something like alchemists were trying to transmute lead to gold. Astrologers are basically trying to manipulate things, and numerologists is, it's like anything of this nature has a stigma to it. So from a modern scientific perspective, it's pseudoscience. From a religious perspective, you are dealing with the devil and demons and Satan, Lucifer, so on and so forth, right? So either way, you got religion that's like, yo, don't do that. And you got the modern scientists and modern science saying, okay, that's pseudoscience. So you have both perspectives coming at you like, yo, that's incorrect. It doesn't work. It isn't based on anything real. Where does this ideology come from? This ideology comes from us feeling like we are supreme or we are smarter than our ancestors. Because if you want to ask my honest opinion, I feel anyone who does not acknowledge occult science, you're pretty much throwing your whole ancestor heritage, your whole culture, you're throwing your whole heritage away. Because 10 times out of 10, regardless of where you originate from on this planet, you had astrologers in your culture. It don't matter what creed you are from. They acknowledge astrology because we see it. The evidence is still here. We can see monuments that were built around the constellations. There's evidence all over this planet, crop circles, so on and so forth. There's all types of evidence that denotes that our ancestors were not foolish people. They were not superstitious. They were not simply believing in fairy tales that do not exist. Why? Because they created the fairy tales. You cannot say that the same people that created what we call the Bible, the Quran, fairy tales, mythology, we just call it the science of mythology. Mythology was created by the ancestors. So when we say, well, of course, none of these places or realms exist, well, they were created by a group of people who were scientists. And of course, you cannot teach people science directly in the sense of you expect everybody to understand the science of everything in life like we teach now in schools. Like you have to learn everything separately and put it together later. That's not how science was originally taught, because we didn't go to institutions to learn. You learned everything at the same time, because these sciences can be connected, as we know. So you were not learning differently or separately. You were learning about life collectively. Now, let's take it to another level. We understand astrology has always been applied for relationships, even to this day. Even to this day, astrology is used to compare charts. That is an ancient science. This didn't just happen. We have always utilized the science of astrology all over the world to connect people, especially when we're talking about arranged marriages, which was a thing. It's still a thing. When you have to arrange people together to be married who don't particularly know each other, you have to base your references on their natal chart. This is all through history. So once again, anyone who deems occult science pseudoscience or does not believe in it, you're completely throwing everything that happened before this away. If it was not for astrology, there would be no astronomy. See, they will acknowledge astronomy, but they will not acknowledge astrology. But astronomy without astrology, it doesn't exist. Again, prior to the 17th century, for those who may not know the history, prior to the 17th century, astrology and astronomy were the same. They were not two separate classes that you take. You were learning both of these sciences simultaneously because there's really no difference between them. This is history. So same way you can go to school now and learn astronomy, you can do the same thing prior to the 17th century. Well, what happened in the 17th century? Astrology fell out of favor politically in the 17th century. Now, there's a deeper layer to this, because the reason why we're just throwing away our history, we're just throwing away our heritage, we're just saying our ancestors were foolish, they were doing their best, they were, they didn't have iPhones, they didn't have machines, they didn't have any of these things, so they were just doing whatever. If we look at our ancestors, if we look at our history like that, again, which we're trained to do because we're trained to think we're from monkeys, and I spoke about this, a couple days ago. We're trained to believe that we come from monkeys. So, of course, this is training us to believe that everything that happened prior to this point was primitive. So it don't matter what was going on, we're at the most advanced stage now because we were primitive, because we come from monkeys and we evolved. Darwinism, that's actual science. Darwinism, right? You're taught this. This is the mainstream accepted science. This is what most people believe. Majority of the people, because majority of the people are not into occult science. Majority of the people are into what the mainstream is into. This is the mainstream ideology in the world. So, when we say we are evolving from animals, we were first animals and we evolved, of course you can not acknowledge your history, if that is the case. Well, I don't care what we were doing in the caves, because we're cavemen and all that shit. We were just doing primitive shit. If that's how you feel life was created, and life just evolved, we was just came out of the nothingness, and we came out of caves. If that's your accepted belief, then of course you can throw your whole heritage away and not acknowledge it and say, okay, well, it doesn't matter now because we know better. But if you look at any of the 7 wonders of the world, I don't know how many it is now. It may be 8, it may be 9, but you know, the 7 wonders of the world. We know on top of that list is the Great Pyramid in Giza. That's on top of the 7 wonders of the world. You're not going to find nowhere in Egyptian mythology or history that tells us that we came from animals. Now, the argument may be, well, we were depicted with animal heads. So if you want to believe that there were animal heads with human bodies walking around the planet, then you could say you're just as receptive to believing that we came from animals. That's a perspective, because if you're taking something on face value without understanding the occult knowledge, you're going to be led in this direction. If you think we were simply putting things on the walls that made no sense, then you will be led in the wrong direction, which is why we're here, which is why we don't want to acknowledge all of these facts. Every ancestor that has came before us has acknowledged astrology, has acknowledged the occult in some form or fashion. It may not be the same way, but it was in some way. Divination has always been acknowledged till recently, because politics does that. Colonization does that. Erasing of history does that. It makes you believe that your whole history is wrong. Again, if you've been taught that your only contribution to this country is slavery, and that there were not original people here in America prior to that, if that is what you believe, regardless of whether you are this creed or not, if you look at another people, they're slaves, and they don't have nothing to do with what's going on in the world, or you look at yourself like, I'm a slave and I didn't contribute anything to the world, then of course, if we throw away our history, then that's what we're left with, which is why a majority of the people are walking around here with that state of mind, not knowing that there was a rich history prior to whatever was going on with Christopher Columbus. 1492. What was going on in America prior to 1492? Of course, you have to get it from the natives, because everyone else is not going to tell you the truth. You got to get it from the natives. You got to go to the lands, travel around the Americas, and you got to ask the questions, because those people were still in existence. But people don't do that. Nobody's going to reservations and asking what the fuck really happened here, because we feel we already know, because the history books are already sealed. So we're just going based off of a perspective, not the perspective. Once again, let's continue. All of our ancestors prior to this point acknowledged the occult. Let's also go to history. The 19th century was the most occult century there is. The 19th century was the foundation that we lay on or build on today. How we look at magic, how we look at occult science, our perspective of magic, the basis of it all is 19th century magic, right? Because the 19th century was the birth. If you look at the people that were born in the 19th century and the contributions they left to the world, it's incredible because that was the birth. Remember, 9 is born for those who understand supreme mathematics, or Mars for those who understand astrology. You're giving birth through 9. 9 represents birth, to give life. So new life from the knowledge, because let's not ignore the 1. We got 1 that represents knowledge or the sun. 9 is born or Mars. So you can say it's sun and Mars, or knowledge born. Knowledge being made manifest, or the sun, which represents a collective circle of fire being directed towards Mars, which is more like a laser beam. So you got this collective flame being reduced or compressed into a laser beam, focusing on one specific thing. And that one specific thing of focus, because once you add the 1 plus 9, it's going to give you the 10. When you go to the 10, now you're dealing with the sun and Pluto, because Pluto is 0. So now Pluto is factored into this equation. So we got the 1, the sun, we got 9, Mars, and we got 0, Pluto. So through the sun, we get harmony. Through Mars, it gives us or gathers our will. We have the will to assert ourselves. And through Pluto, we have the will to transform. Pluto transforms everything it touches. So when you activate Pluto within your chart, it's going to transmute anything that it touches. That's why this video is called How to Glitch the Matrix. Glitching the Matrix means you have to change it. You have to transform it. You have people who are trying to operate within the matrix or operate within the box. Then you have those who acknowledge that there are laws beyond this box or this construct. Everything that I've been telling you is based on a construct, a political construct. It's not based on truth, but there's a difference. There's a difference between what's true and truth. You can say it's true that astrology is a pseudoscience. That's true. But is it truth? Now that's a different conversation. Let's take it a step further. Let me use my personal experience now. I don't want to take up too much time. From a person who acknowledges these invisible forces on a daily basis, literally do not miss a beat, which is clearly made manifest. Because again, 900 pieces of content don't just come out of thin air. Where's all this shit coming from? Where am I getting this from? This is coming from acknowledging invisible forces and being able to decode them. It is not coming from because I read 1,000 books, even though I've read many, but that's just the foundation. It just provides you with the foundation. Books provide you with the foundation that you then must build on, because it doesn't stop with the book. The book is a addition to whatever your strategy is. So whatever you build upon the foundation is yours. So we have scholars who have the foundation in lock. But because you can be a scholar in something and not practice it as a lifestyle. This is the times we live in now. You can be a scholar of something, but not practice it. You can be a master, let's just say a historian. You can go to school and get a degree in history, but not practice any certain type of culture. You're just studying it, right? So we have a lot of people that study, but don't practice. And these, most of the time, are the skeptics, are the non-believers. The reason that they are a skeptic and the reason that they are non-believers is because they study this from afar, but they don't get their hands messy. They don't get their hands dirty. They're not going to actually dwell or dig into it themselves, because they can easily hide behind the veil. It's not real. I don't need to practice something that's not real. I don't have to try to prove something that's clearly not real and make it real. Okay? Let's take it to another level. So once again, everything that I do is based upon the occult. The way I plan my day, how I structure everything in life is based on planetary energies or the occult in general. Now, is that the apex? No, it's the foundation. Once you have the foundation, again, what you build on that foundation is up to you. The occult just simply provides a foundation for you to build on. So what I choose to build upon based on the foundation of the occult allows me to do things that others simply cannot do. Does it make me better? No, I just acknowledge what's invisible to others. I acknowledge the invisible, so I'm able to do things that other people they don't see because they can't comprehend. It's not that I'm doing something they can't. Once again, they're just not acknowledging it. Why? Because they have all this information and knowledge that does not allow them to break or glitch the matrix. We are institutionalized. When you are institutionalized, I probably said that wrong. When you are compressed to think in a certain way, anything outside of that thinking is going to be challenging. If all your life you've been taught Darwinism, then somebody comes along and say, actually, we didn't come from animals, we always been here. Like there was no gap. There was no animals first, then man. Then it completely shatters, and people will not let go of everything that they've been taught 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They're not going to abandon. Then they're going to okay, well, with modern science, for example, you can say they have their 100 years, 200 years to pull from. Because you can say their foundation is Albert Einstein, but we also know why Nikola Tesla, why he was not acknowledged till later. Because he was saying the shit that makes sense now. Imagine saying and speaking the way we speak 200 years ago. Nikola Tesla was, but that's why he wasn't acknowledged. That's why they did him the way they did him. Because he wanted to provide everyone with free energy. He wasn't going to charge everybody a light bill. He's like, for what? It's free energy. We don't need to make money off this. But of course, capitalism will not allow love. And this is another thing that I want to mention. I really want to mention this. Pluto is in Capricorn. Understand what this means. Pluto is in Capricorn. It does not matter how loving you are in your heart. You're going to always have people that's going to give you the evil eye. Let me acknowledge this for those who may not understand what I'm talking about. The evil eye is basically, because again, this is another occult subject, right? The evil eye is basically someone casting a curse or a hex on you, right? When somebody gives you the evil eye, it's like they're hating on you. And hate represents negative energy. So they're basically sending negative forces at you. Okay? Excuse me. The reason why positive energy is not strong enough to combat this energy, and why so many people get caught up in this, think positive vibes, I don't want no negative energy around me. Positive energy represents a sword. Positive energy gives you a sword of discernment. When you think positive, when you have your mindset in a positive direction, it gives you a sword of discernment. Yes. So you can discern the good from the bad, the haters from the lovers. Positive energy gives you that sword. You're right. But the counterbalance of the universe is also hitting you with a sword. Because remember, polarity. So we will always have the opposite. Polarity exists. So if you're swinging a sword, then you're getting a sword swung back at you. So if it's just two swords, there's nothing moving. There's just two people hitting two swords, for example. That's what happens when we try to push our will into this world. You're going to be faced with counterbalance. So when you're trying to swing your sword, my will, I want to assert my will, then the planetary, because I don't want to say God or the devil because people get spooky. The planetary energy, depending on the stages or the evolution of the planets, they're going to be giving you a counterbalance. they're going to be swinging their sword too. So you're just dancing with swords. So you need more energy. You can't just be dancing with the planetary energies. You need more energy. Where do you get this energy from? You need a shield. Where do you get this shield? You need negative energy. Negative energy gives you a shield because negative energy represents magnetism. When you're dealing with negative energy, you're dealing with magnetism. Energy that's being gathered. You need to gather energy. That's what a shield represents. Negative energy gathers energy. So when someone is sending a evil energy towards you, energy is being gathered towards you, attaching to weaknesses or weak spots in your aura. That's what's being done, whether they acknowledge this on a conscious level or not, but that's what's being done because we know invisible forces mean something. Whatever you think, you're making an impression on the ectoplasma, and those who can read minds, they can see what you're thinking. How can people read your mind and see what you're thinking? Because you are casting imprints into the ectoplasma when you impress your thought upon what we call the universe, ether, ectoplasma. All this is scientific, but we just refuse to study it because we have something in place of it, because we think we already know. I'm not going to study this. It's clearly false. I already know better. So you're just not going to acknowledge it. This is the thing with the occult. And I'm going to get back to what I was saying about the evil eye. We can speak about the occult forever, but you must bring it to life within yourself. That's why the occult is different for everyone, because it is based on your rank. Let me explain rank for those who may not know. There is a hierarchy. Whenever you study archdemons, archangels, all this shit, they follow a hierarchy. They are ranked, even with demons. 72 Goetia, all that. You got princes, you got marquise, so on and so you have ranks. So whenever you're dealing with metaphysical energies, it is a hierarchy. It also applies to us, whether we understand that shit or not. Most people are not thinking about that, but that's what matters. Let me take it a step further. Depending on your actual evolution, that determines your real rank. We're not talking about your status. We're not talking about your 10th house. We're talking about your actual rank in real life. Everybody has a rank in real life, and that is based on your mind, how powerful your mind is. What is your real rank? So again, we're not talking about what somebody else gave you, a job that someone else gave you, or a position that someone else gave you, or people gave you. You were elected into a certain position. We're not talking about that. We're talking about who are you in real time amongst other minds? How powerful are you amongst all these other people in your city? Where do you fall into? If there's 1 million people in your city, where do you fall into those 1 million people? This is what I'm talking about, and it's all based on mentality. It's not based on what a person has or does not have. Again, we're not talking about status quo. We're talking about mentality. How does your mind rank up against everyone else in your circumference? And that will depend on your experience in life. Let me make that more clear. How you rank mentally determines your position and overall experience in life. Because the first law of the occult or Hermeticism, or the universal laws, 7 universal laws, the first law is a law of mentalism. The very first law is a law of mentalism. Again, now we're going back into the occult, because these principles have already been established. So whatever we feel we are already discovering, these new laws we discover, it's already been laid down. We're just giving it more detail. But because we can't read the ancient script. Okay, so here we go. So it's like, it's coming to me as I speak. It's coming to me as I speak. The only reason we feel we are more advanced is because we cannot read the script. That's it. We can't go back and read ancient scrolls, meaning like that, the everyday layman, maybe somebody who has trained themselves to do that, but the odds of that person actually influencing the entire world is very slim because everybody has their opinion, versus something that anybody can do. Anybody can go read the script and make their own conclusions. We don't have access to that. We don't know how to do that. We don't have access to the ancient scrolls, the ancient scripts. So of course we're going to believe, because you can read, because we speak English or whatever language you speak, that we can, I know what we don't call it the law of mentalism, we call it the law of attraction now. And whenever you type in a law of attraction, all this science is going to come up. It's not that it's new, it's just that it's in English. The law of mentalism is just in English. Law of attraction is just law of mentalism in English. That's all it is. If we were reading the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, where these things come from, then we would see like, oh, this is actually very thoroughly explained. The law of mentalism is very thoroughly explained. Also, the Kabbalion, that's where the universal laws come from, for those who need references, because I'm not speaking about this with no references. The Kabbalion, read the Kabbalion. That's where you learn in-depth information about the universal laws, but beyond just the law of mentalism. But most people are not reading the Kabbalion. They have easier access to Google. So they're going to take the Google route. They're not going to read the Kabbalion. They're not going to read the source material. They're going to read Google. That's the only difference between today and yesterday. You just have people who prefer Google instead of reading the source text because they may not be able to comprehend. So it's easy to say that's bullshit. It's easy to say that's bullshit when you can't comprehend it, when you don't know what it's really saying, when you're taking it on surface value and you have to make a hypothesis on it. You're not sure. There's no clarity. It's easy to say something is false when you don't have clarity on it and say this is realer because it's in the same language I speak and I resonate with it more because I'm connected with the people speaking about it. Versus you're not connected with the people that wrote the ancient script because you feel like, oh, there's no connection. There's a universal culture on this world or on this planet. There's a universal culture. This is what the occult is. The occult is a universal culture, right? And I'm going to speak about the evil eye, and I'm going to speak about this last point, and we're going to check out. I'm going to speak about the universal culture. And my experience, why? Because I've documented it. I think I may be the only one who has documented literally their paths in the dungeon because nobody's going to show their hardship. They don't want to show. Call had came in. You see how that shit came in right when I was about to acknowledge that? Let's go. I really got to say this now. Trying to interrupt me and shit. Yeah, you see that how they glitched the matrix and I got interrupted? Yeah, let me tell you this. Let me just speak about the evil eye. Let me take a little time for that. The evil eye. You must have your shield because people are going to cast the evil eye on you. Why? Because there are haters in this world. You simply will have haters who don't want to study shit, who don't want to acknowledge truth. They're going to stand on pride. They're going to stand on ignorance because that's what they've been trained to do. Why? Because you're not being taught ethics in school. You're not being taught moral philosophy in school. You're just being taught basic information. You're not taught how to be a refined, civilized human being. Where's that class? People ain't taking that class. People have all this information, this void information, with no ethics. So this is where the evil eye comes from. This is where a hater comes from. A hater is just an uncivilized being. Easy, because a hater is uncivilized. Why? Because a hater hates you for what they don't have, but they can have what you have if they get some discipline. That's all they need. All they need is discipline, because that's what you have. A hater hates someone who is disciplined, because discipline allows you to go further in life. So a hater is stuck because they don't have enough discipline to transform. So they rather build the negative energy than transmute the negative energy. That's all it is. It's all science. That's all it is. That's what's happening within the aura of a hater or someone who is in a negative vibe. That's the only thing that's going on. They're so tangled up with all this false information that doesn't really have any truth to it. It's true, but no truth. True, but no truth. Right? If something is true, but it is not truth, it does not penetrate you in levels that affect your subconscious and your unconscious mind. What do I mean? You can literally stare at Egyptian writings and not understand them consciously, but it's going to resonate with you on a subconscious and unconscious level. Those writings, those source writings will resonate with you. That's why if you put imagery on your walls of older texts and older temples and all that, they actually transmute the whole energy of your home because it's built on science. It's sacred geometry. We already knew this, right? The Great Pyramid is a symbol that we understood sacred geometry, right? You can't even build something like that and not know sacred geometry. You need that type of high science or high mathematics, not no primitive shit. You ain't building primitive pyramids. You need high science, high mathematics. You need stuff that we don't even comprehend now. So we were more advanced in the past, not less advanced. Once again, the evil eye will be cast because people are going to choose to be ignorant. Pluto is in Capricorn. That means you cannot be scared to completely obliterate those who come up against you. I'm not speaking about actually hurting or harming anyone, just utilizing your words and your invisible forces to take care of your deeds, right? Use your words coupled with your invisible forces. That's how you bounce back the evil eye. Because if the evil eye is invisible forces, then you need invisible forces to counterbalance invisible forces. So everyone who does not acknowledge invisible forces, it's fine, because the world was built off of invisible forces because our ancestors was here before us and they acknowledge invisible forces and they are the fucking builders. So the builders of the world acknowledge invisible forces and utilize it. They acknowledged it and they used it. We don't want to acknowledge it, we don't want to use it, which is why we don't see us, we can't compare ourselves to them, because they acknowledge what was truth, not true. They acknowledge truth. When you acknowledge truth, then you start being able to do amazing things. So lastly, I was going to make the point of the universal culture. The occult is a universal culture. What do I mean? This is what I was going to say. Meaning no one will document when they're fucked up. They're not going to document when they don't have no money in their pocket. You know, they're not going to show their face on camera. They don't want to do that. They don't want to, because they want to show when they're up. They're not going to show when they're down. That's why I say I may be the only one. I showed you. You can go back in the archive and see me, and I'm really going through shit. I'm live streaming in real time, going through real shit, because I acknowledge this culture. I place myself in hardship so that I can learn. I chose not to stay within the books. I need to hit these streets and learn. If this is real, I should be able to survive. I should be able to find my way. I should be able to live by my whims on edge and be all right, because I have a foundation laid. I'm not really taking a chance. It just appears that I'm living at my whims, taking a chance, but really it's all scientific internally, which is what was acknowledged. Because you go back at the old videos, you see I'm still speaking knowledge. I didn't lose myself. I'm still the same person I am now. Scientific with my surroundings, even in the slums and the dungeons. So I went and explored the scientific nature of the dungeons, of the depths. And I explored the highest of depths. So while you see me all the way in New York, you see me all the way in Los Angeles. Then been around, you done seen this shit. I don't have to, it's already documented, it's already done, right? What I'm saying is I'm the only one who was showing the harshness. I was showing hardship, I was showing harshness, but still acknowledging the occult. I didn't abandon it when I was down. This is the point I'm making. I didn't abandon it. I didn't change up. I didn't switch up. Damn, maybe I need to start believing in Jesus. I'm not doing too good right now. Maybe, damn, did I really sell my soul to the devil? Oh, shit. Oh, I'm working with demons. That's why I'm fucked up. Damn, maybe I shouldn't. Nah. You know why? You know why that didn't happen? Because I understood what I was doing. I had the science. I'm like, oh, when you work with demons, they're going to take you to some real primitive levels. You just have to be ready for it. Are you ready for it? Are you ready to explore the most primitive aspects of your own nature? Are you ready to see your alter ego? Are you ready for it? That determines if you work with it or not. So I had to see myself in the most primitive form, and I did. I saw my most devilish form. I even made a video. Fucking, what was the name of the video? It was something about that. I don't even remember the shit when I was in New York. How to summon the devil or some shit. When I said, like, yo, I'm the devil. Somebody said, oh, who's the devil? I said, it's me. Like, if there was any devil, ever a devil, was me. All right, this is what I said in the video. I'm just talking about what I said in the video. Meaning, I've been to the depths. I've been so far into the dark. But I never lost myself, because truth should keep you on your square. So I had to test it. I never had to go through any of that. I just simply wanted to test this knowledge in real time before I bring it to people. Before I get in front of anybody and teach anything, I have to test it and prove it so that when I do speak, I can always give you personal experience, just like I'm doing now. I can give you books, but I'm more so about giving you the personal experience because I have an abundance of it, because that's all I've been doing is getting the personal experience. Let me go out into the world and create something out of the nothingness. And that's what I did. Let me create something out of the nothingness. And literally, in the midst of all that, literally been had whole conversations arm to arm in limos with millionaires. This is the crazy shit. When I was at my most darkest points, literally, this is when I met literally. I don't want to put nobody's wealth. It ain't about putting nobody's business out there. But literally, I met this, you can say, the most financially set person I've ever met in my life. I met when I was the most fucked up. Not mentally fucked up, but if you look like, oh, this person's going through hardship. If you looked at it, but in reality, I'm like, if I don't bring this reality to life, I'm wasting my time. If I don't make this work, I'm wasting my time. If this cannot solve the hardship that I put myself in, I'm wasting my time. So the only thing I did was speed up the process. Instead of waiting for hardship to happen, for you to get a fucked up phone call and that's when shit happened, I put myself there. Like, I'm not gonna wait for life to happen to me. I'm gonna place myself in hardship and get out of it. And that's what I did. I placed myself in the hardship and got out of it. Instead of, oh, I did something wrong, demons took over, I lost everything I had. It was nothing of that nature. But that's how it will appear if you don't understand what you're doing, if you don't acknowledge, if you're going to work with darker forces or demons and all that, archdemons, that their points or their purpose is to show you your alter ego. That is the purpose that they serve, to show you your darkest nature and to see if you can constructively channel your alter ego in a way that is not destructive, because of course it can be destructive. We can destroy ourselves. I could have destroyed myself out there. I could have just said, fuck it, and you guys would never see me again. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna die on the street. I can't do it. I can't make it out. I'm just too weak. I wouldn't be here if I gave up. Obviously, the only thing that's gonna keep you from giving up is truth. You need to have a foundation laid on truth. It can't be true. It need to be truth in order for you to survive such hardships, right? So again, you, on the other hand, don't have to be that extreme. That's just the Scorpio. The Scorpio is the extremist, right? For others, it can be less extreme. For you to test this lifestyle out, you don't have to be that extreme. You don't have to completely transform your life. Again, that's just Scorpio being ruled by Pluto, transform everything. So I'm just giving you the most extreme nature just to let it be known that your examples and what you do does not have to be that extreme. You don't have to go that far, unless you want to. But I've already done it. Why am I speaking it? Not for you to do it, just to acknowledge that it's already been done. I've already made the hardship. I already made the sacrifice. That's why I'm in your face right now, giving you this game, because I had already sacrificed. So you don't have to do it. You don't have to go out into the streets and experience nothing hard. All you got to do is build upon a foundation that I'm laying for you already. Gather your own experience. Because I already been to hell. I can tell you all about it, right? I'm the person that's working with the demons, right? I'm the hell being, right? I'm the hell raiser. So I can tell you all about those dark chambers. You don't need to go there. If you prefer angels, then work with angels. Just do something. Use some type of invisible force. Use some type of spiritual assistance. It don't have to be demons. Use angels. It don't have to be angels. It can be elementals. Use whatever you need to use to get the job done. Whatever you feel comfortable with. But it must be something, because we didn't just create this science for us not to use. And if it was something that is fake or something that died off in the past, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did and what I am doing now. My whole lifestyle is based upon occult science. That is first. Then everything physical comes next after I have the foundation laid, and that's how I build. Versus someone who built physically first and come to the occult second. It's all about who you are. I have always been a person that acknowledged the invisible first. Then I started to understand the physical later. You may be a person that understood the physical first, and you're now beginning to understand the occult or the invisible. Whatever your path in this may be, first or second, you must base your reality in truth. If you want to glitch the matrix, you must base your reality in truth. And I'm just giving you an example of me doing that. I placed hardship right in front of my face and I got out of it utilizing invisible forces. Not looking for a handout, not asking somebody, hey, can you help me out of this situation? I never had to ask anybody for any help, because when you call upon the divine, when you call upon your own willpower, when you call upon the energies that are latent within you, that are dormant within you, then you awaken who you already are, or your alter ego. You place your alter ego in front of your ego. Why? Because we're supposed to be dissolving or murdering our ego, right? The whole thing, you're supposed to kill your ego, dissolve your ego. Well, you can't operate in this world without an ego. So you can't dissolve your ego and just leave a void there. What is replacing the ego? That's what the alter ego is. The alter ego replaces the ego, because the ego is based upon fear and survival. The ego was all about, how do I survive? How do I get to tomorrow? It's all root chakra, Saturn. The alter ego instead comes from Neptune or Pisces or the unconscious. So it's dealing with the outer planets. I just spoke about the outer planets yesterday. So you got the inner planets. The ego is based on in Saturn or in the root chakra, right? Physical. But the alter ego is in the outer planets, Neptune. It's invisible. So when you are utilizing invisible forces and to replace them with physical, utilize invisible forces to alter physical forces, then that's what occult is. Occult science is the science of transmutation. As they say, from lead to gold. You can either take that literally or metaphysically. Because if you take it literally, is it possible to literally transmute one type of metal to a different type of metal? Absolutely, if you have the recipe, because there is a recipe that you must cook up. You must concoct a recipe that allows the atoms to completely break away from their structure and rearrange themselves, combining and binding with the new chemistry that you have introduced. And you have to shape and mold it. Like, it's a whole science to this shit. It's a whole science. You know, people who make jewelry and all that, they probably understand that more, where it's a whole process, but I don't think they're transmuting golds. They're probably working within golds, but they're not transmuting it. So maybe they would know. So I'm telling you now, for those who may not know, it's a whole process. If you're talking about mental alchemy, you're transmuting your mindset, your ego, to your alter ego. If you're talking about mental alchemy, now we understand that as well. So that's it. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. For the skeptics, for the unbelievers, for the non-believers, there's no way to believe, because this is not a belief system. This is not a belief system. This is natural law. This is natural science. We don't need to believe. I am not able to do what I do because I believe. I just observe nature. When you observe nature, it shows itself. I don't have to prove anything. I observe nature, and nature shows forth its own magic. Nature shows forth its own magic. I just introduced you to nature. I am just a messenger to introduce you to nature. Study nature and watch nature open up its secrets to you naturally. I don't have to be there. You're going to be, there's going to be your own relationship between you and nature, and that's what you acknowledge. You acknowledge what is there yet invisible. This is what people call God. This is what people call the supreme intelligence. It's all the same, just different words. Patterns within the universe that can be manipulated and altered based upon your thinking, your emotional energy, your desire, and your memory. Desire, emotion, thought, memory is what alters invisible forces, right? So just marinate on that. So I'm gonna go through these comments. I know people been saying stuff. So if anybody has any questions, ask your question. If I didn't make anything clear, ask your question now. So I'm gonna give a couple minutes here. Go ahead and ask whatever you want to ask. Dude, where have you been? Your channel basically disappeared from our subscription. Y'all know how YouTube do. It's because of the vibration that's coming through the ethers. You think YouTube want you knowing this shit? If you didn't hit this, like, if you don't come and find this yourself, you ain't gonna get it. This is another thing. Don't expect YouTube to bring it to you no more. You gotta come here and get this game. Either come here, go to the website, you gotta come get the game. YouTube ain't gonna give this type because YouTube is, they ban, alternative voices, right? We already know the game, but that's, we don't need to make YouTube the enemy here. That's just how it works. So if you're not aggressive, if you are not assertive in this, then it's not gonna come to you. It's just not gonna come to you. Can you make a video about Manly P. Hall? Why? Why do I need to make a video about Manly P. Hall? Now, do I know who Manly P. Hall is? Yes. Do I know his contributions to the occult? Yes. He's the one that wrote. He's the one that wrote. I don't know, that book, the Secret Knowledge of All Ages, right? The secret teachings, not the secret knowledge, the secret teachings of all ages, right? All right. Opinion on the number 48. That's Uranus and Saturn. The number 4 is Uranus, the number 8 is Saturn. So Uranus represents sudden changes, a higher octave of Mercury. Then, of course, Saturn is, we know, the devil, right? Saturn is, of course, the devil, our darkest nature. So you got your darkest nature with your fastest nature, your most rapid nature with your darkest nature, fused, right? So you can say structure and innovation. Structure from Saturn, innovation from Uranus. Structured innovation, right? You have lived it, shown, and proved? Yeah, absolutely. It wouldn't make no other sense. Again, that's why I had to make it. I know it's people who come in front of you and who fucking lie. And make me look bad. You know what I mean? And make people skeptical about investing in me and, doing business. Like, because people are not taking this seriously. They want to slang it in the mud. They want to do all the bullshit. So, you know what I mean? It affects me one way or another. It may not be directly, but it's indirectly. Because people be leaving all type of bullshit on my feed and my comments about, this is not real. But, they clearly don't know who I am. So, I have the video evidence to show and prove it. I don't have to fuck my mouth. Got the video, you see me. You see me going through some real shit. Then get out of it, all right? Transmutation. And I did it on camera just to show that it's real. I didn't do it for clout because I'm trying to get famous off this shit. I don't even show my subscriber count. I don't care about the numbers. So it wasn't about what I can gain from it. It's to show and prove the reality. And now that it's shown and proved, now you use it and you build and you go beyond, because everybody's mind is different. My mind is more geared to the occult. For those who are more physical, you utilize the occult and do what you do better. Just do what you do better. That's all it was. Do what you do better. Whatever it is you're doing, you don't have to change what you're doing. Just do it better. Just do it better. Do what you do better. All right. Is there a difference with taking bath, with energy baths and all that? Everything is energy. The reason why baths work is not about the materials, it's about the water. It's about the water. It's not about the salt, the sugar, and the honey, and all this other stuff that people put in their baths. It's the water, because water is programmable. You can't sit in a tub of fire. You can't sit in a tub of air. You can't sit in a tub of earth. Well, I guess you could. But the reason why it even works is because water is programmed. It's about the elemental structure of water. That's what makes it energetically, well, water is pulling energy out of you and purifying you and cleansing you. It's the water element that's doing most of the work, because you can sit in water with nothing in it and still cleanse yourself. You can just sit in a tub full of water and just soak in the water, and you're gonna feel more cleansed just using water without anything. So when you add materials, vitamins and elements with the water, it just enhances what's already doing. But the basis, the foundation of it all is the element of water. What is your thoughts on all this diet debate lately? Vegans, carnivores, so on and so forth. How do humans get so far removed from our natural diet? Well, personally, if you want to ask my personal opinion, I feel everybody's diet should be based on their zodiac sign. Because there's a field of astrology called medical astrology. And medical astrology acknowledges that your zodiac sign should determine your diet. I don't feel there is universal diets. It's a good idea, but you have to acknowledge your blood type. You have to acknowledge your astrological alignments. So I'm just more of a advocate of medical astrology, that everyone's diet should be based more so on your zodiac sign, more so than whether. But this is where it comes from, because people don't know where it comes from. So let me just give you the history. Why do people even care about being vegans? That comes from, I'm just going to say HPB, because whenever I say her name, my fucking video glitches. I didn't say her name before and it shut the whole video, so I'm just going to say the abbreviations. If you catch it, you catch it. HPB. She was the first one to say, stop eating meat. Because she was the one that went to the East and studied with the yogi or the yogic masters and learned from them, and they were vegetarians. She took on their diet, the diet from the Far East. So that whole vegan, that's the diet from the Far East. And she acknowledged it, she accepted it. So when she came here to America and when she came to Europe, that's what she came with. She came with veganism. She was the first one with that shit. All this other shit, that's this new shit, fuck all that. I don't care about this new shit, because they don't even know the foundation. They're just doing this shit just for money or whatever the fuck they're doing it. They're not connected to the root. They're not connected to the source. They don't have no game about it. They don't know why, and they're not utilizing it the proper way. If you want to be a fucking vegan, then study it the proper way. Don't just be a vegan and think you're better. And you don't even know who was the first one who told you to be a fucking vegan. They were an occultist. And occultist. You see, let me calm myself down. I'm getting all over the place. And occultist told you to be a vegan. That's occult science. It wasn't a scientist that told you that shit. It wasn't a fucking doctor. It wasn't an occultist that told you, put the meat down. In the 19th century, 200 years ago, put the meat down. Because it helps you to evolve in the occult. Not because you're better, because animal rights and all this. It don't have nothing to do with that. Animal rights or the emotions or the chemicals that they're putting in animals, the GMOs. It didn't have nothing to do with that. It was strictly based on the occult. All this other shit that we make it about now is ridiculous. All this other shit, it don't have nothing to do with why you shouldn't eat meat, because of the GMOs and the feelings of the animal and all that. That don't have nothing to do why you should eat it, or why you should or shouldn't eat it. So that's what it is. Can you talk about the importance of the sacral chakra? Yeah, it's the creative chakra. It's your sex chakra. Of course, so just that, it's your sex chakra. It may be the most important chakra after the root. After you master your root chakra, then the next chakra to master is your sex chakra, which is where you pull your creativity from. You pull your creativity from, your sex chakra. So the importance of your sex chakra, that's the basis of your creativity, all right? Are the divine archetypes more powerful if you're from that area? For example, are the Greek gods more powerful to use if your blood is really from that area? Yes. Yeah. However, see, this is the trick, though. People may think they know what they're from, but it's not true. Like, for example, if you got a test, if you got a blood test to get where your ancestry is, you took a blood test and they compared it. No, don't use that. This is another reason why you need to utilize the occult. So this is how you find out what you're connected to. So let's just say you don't know what you're connected to. That's why you work with deities, because in the course of working with different pantheons and different systems, there will be certain systems that just are more attractive to you. They're going to just work better for you, right? And the ones that work the best are the ones that you are already connected with, whether you know it or not. But you can only find that out if you put that work in. That's how I figured out. See, I didn't have to take a fucking blood test. I simply worked with every pantheon. I got me an encyclopedia of spirits, get you an encyclopedia of spirits, so you got all spirits, and you just start going through the fucking list. It's gonna take forever. It's gonna take years. I've been doing it 6 years. I made this channel in 2013. So it's been 6 years of me doing this shit and just spirits and deities, and it's been years for me to get through all this. So it's not gonna be an overnight thing, but your magic will show you your magical connections, and that's what you need to connect with. All right. So somebody complained, not complained, excuse me. The music, I made this beat. That's why it sounds like that. You know what kind of music? Like you talking this with this music? I made this beat. Why? Because I wanted to put my frequency out here. So you can't find this. I'm gonna try to come with different types of. I'm just getting more into the instrumentals, but this is more so. This is not traditional music. Obviously, it's not bound to the four beats per minute and all that. Obviously, this is more like noise music. For those who understand noise music, this is more unstructured music. It's more about altering the mind. It's not to put your mind into a box. It's actually to go beyond the box. So the music is not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to sound like a bunch of sound effects. So it's supposed to entertain your mind. Like if you listen to that with headphones on, it will lower your brain waves. That's why I made it, because I'm going to be releasing these things. So I'm not just going to release music like everybody else release music. I know how to, do all the sound shit. Like I know how to edit sound and, manipulate hertz and all that. So like I can tune my frequencies to do a certain thing with the body, because I study all this. I know what sound, what hertz alter what section of the body, what chakra, what musical notes. Like I know all this stuff. So I know how to, that's why I know how to make these things or alter certain things, right? But that's in time. I'm not going to speak too much on that. I did voodoo and got results instantly. Yeah, because if you're connected with, any American should be practicing voodoo. But of course, if you think you're from Africa, then maybe you shouldn't. But if you know that you are a pure American, you've been here, all of your ancestors been here, you didn't come here in slavery times, you was already here, you were a part of the ones who were already here, then yeah, you should be working with American spirits. That's a given. Just study the Haitian Revolution. It was voodoo that got, voodoo. There's a difference between voodoo and voodoo. All right, so I don't want to confuse them, because there is a difference. Voodoo is what freed us in the Haitian Revolution, right, from slavery. They freed themselves with magic. That's another thing. Utilize history. Study the Haitian Revolution. How did they free themselves? Voodoo. Invisible forces. Manipulation of invisible forces. So to this day, they maintain their independence because they utilize their voodoo. Right? That's just history. Right? That's just what it is. So when we tap into our own magic, our own power, that's the type of power that you're working with, because it's yours already. Your name is also of importance. Yeah, Amon Asheranu. Yeah, that just means King of Kings. So that means Emperor. So like the King of Kings is the Emperor. So I came in, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be the Emperor. That's the thought, But I programmed myself to be that. I'm like, I'm not just going to say that. I'm going to live it again, which is why I wanted to go above and beyond. Like, so everybody gets in front of the camera and they sit in their home, their comfortable ass homes, and talk shit. Let me go outside, because my very first live stream back in 2017, you saw me outside. Most of my live streams was outside, because again, I didn't have time to be inside. I was moving all over the place. Again, I was just talking about it, right? So I'm like, if everybody's inside talking their shit, or you just maybe see them outside, just kind of, safe, you see they ass safe, let me be in some dangerous shit, outside in danger, showing you graffiti, going places that no one else is going, talking that shit that nobody else is talking. So I just took it a step further. I'm like, let me go all the way in this shit. I dedicated everything to it. So that's the energy that the name generates. Meaning you have to be bound by that law. So when you say that you are the King of Kings, it's not that you're just speaking it. You are bound to that responsibility. You have to be bound to that responsibility. So me being bound to that responsibility, that's why I had to endure what I had to endure based off of your name. Your name controls the experiences that you had to go through. So because I'm like, all right, oh, you're going to be the emperor, you're going to be the king of kings, this is what you got to go through. This is the hardship and the test that you have to pass in order to claim that and live that and show that. So when you say that, when you say, I'm Amon Asheranu, then people are like, oh, okay. Versus I'm Amon Asheranu, I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Who are you? That the only difference in reaction is based on your actual rank. They can look you in your eyes, oh shit, it's a story there, right? Versus, oh, this motherfucker ain't did nothing. All right, oh, oh, I like that name, let me take it. No, let me live it. Live out your name. So if you do take on an alternative name, just know that that does control things. That does alter your life. You can say that's your magical name. That does have an effect on your magic. So we're not talking about your government name. Everybody should have a magical name. That's where you practice your magic. Practice your magic through your magical name. That's why people take on alternative names, because that's their magical names. Your magical name either is given to you or you create it. My magical name, for example, was given to me. That's just how it happened for me. I didn't make it happen, that shit just happened. I'm doing regular shit and the fucking name just spit out. Something fucking moved my mouth and uttered some shit. I didn't even know what it was. Well, what the fuck is that? I had to Google. Egyptian god of the dead. That's how I even got into for those who don't know. What even introduced me to the occult was invisible forces. It was no person. Hey, you should read this book. You should do this. You should do that. It was literally a regular ass day. I'm doing regular shit. Some shit like that just came. I'm like, what the fuck was that? But it was a word. Then it was like an Egyptian god. So that's why I acknowledge this energy. That's why I even care about the Egyptian energy, because the experience I had, it was, oh, that seems cool. Let me take that name. Like, no, I was forced into this shit. I didn't know what it was. I had to do my research. I'm like, what the fuck? What word is that? I didn't even know what I said myself. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I had to do my own research. That's why I even care about Egyptian or thing. It's because I was forced into it. It wasn't a decision I made. I want to study this. This is interesting. That shit it pulled me into it. It sucked me into it. I was sucked into the halls of Amenti. For those who even understand the lingo, I was sucked into it. That's why I take it so seriously, because it wasn't something that I stumbled upon. I guess for other people, they may stumble upon it. Oh, okay, let me do this. No, that shit came to me and forced me and pulled me and grabbed my ass. This is what you're doing. This is who you are. Let's get it. And that's how I even cared about anything occult, because it came to me. Because before that experience, I didn't care about the occult either, like everyone else, because I didn't have a personal experience to verify it. So there was no like, I didn't care about it either. So that's why I made this video, because I understand I have been on the other side where you don't acknowledge this shit at all, because I used to be that way until some shit happened to me, some shit that I could not deny. I'm like, this is clearly a higher intelligence. Because this is not my conscious mind, this is either my subconscious mind or my unconscious, whichever one it was. It introduced me to everything that I do now. It literally, the spirit introduced me to everything I do now. There was no person. This is all invisible forces that I wasn't consciously necessarily looking for. It found me, because I wouldn't even have known to look up something like that. I wouldn't even have known. Maybe that Egyptian pantheon is where you need to be at. I didn't know that, but I had to endure the hardship that came with that, because at the same time, as I started to integrate myself with the Egyptian energy or the Kemetic energy, I was around people who were anti-Kemetic, and I didn't know it, because that's based on traditions and beliefs. So it's like, it's not really a personal thing. It's just like if you're a Christian, then you're not gonna like Muslims. You know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with a personal thing. It's just tribal shit, right? So it caused a strife and a war in the household I was in at the time. Not that I knew, not that I was trying. It's just me acknowledging my own spiritual experience. Started like, motherfuckers started looking at me different. Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing now? I'm rocking the Ankh and shit. What the fuck you doing to Ankh? You know what I mean? Like it completely changed my life from that point on. Ever since then, this shit has been in a whole different direction. And that's just my personal experience. So that's what opened me up to everything that I do now. Because of that experience, it just came to me. So I started to learn how to create those experiences on my own, in my own time, instead of waiting for a revelation to come. Like, how do I predict it, or how do I summon it? We just use summon. How do I conjure it? Even better, how do I conjure these forces by myself, intentionally and constructively, right? This is what sorcery is, right? All right, what we got? Um, it feels like a repetitive rush. Yeah, like this is. I don't know. The music just has you. It's supposed to just. It should be easier to take in everything I'm saying with the music, cause it's not based in no shit. You ain't hearing no other bars, no other lyrics. You're not hearing the structure beat. It's just some crazy shit, right? It's going to the abstract mind. All right. What happens if you see a black dot flash in front of your eyes? That's the iris. I see it too. Like, you can see like little, if you stare into the sun, like those sun gazers, you know what I'm talking about. You see those little orbs. You know what I mean? You see those little orbs when you stare at the sun, you can see them. They move in accordance to your eye. So like, you move your eye over here and you move it, you can see like they travel with you. Also, look into the concrete. When I stare into I'm like, oh shit, you can use not the concrete, the streets as divination. Like, if I look into the blackness of the streets, I can see like the black orbs. You can see like black orbs. If you stand on the sidewalk and stare into the fucking street and get into a meditative state, and you can see that shit, and you can move your eyes, and you can, yeah, it's manipulation of light particles. Yeah, that's what that is. All right. All I listen to is binaural beats with white noise. I'm an auto writer, so they help absolutely, because sound is magic. Sound is a first form of magic. All right. Exactly. Utilize binaural beats. Utilize the technology of sound. Hertz. What would happen if I stare? Basically, like, the purpose of concentration, because when you're talking about staring, you're talking about concentration. You should be able to stare at something long enough where it disappears. If your concentration is not that deep, then you got to work on it. You should be able to look at something directly and steal your gaze on something to the point where within 60 seconds it disappears. You don't even see it no more. You could be looking, you can look right through it. You can see right through it. You should be able to look at anything and it dissolves in front of you and you can see right through it. Why? You should be able to turn waves into particles. Let's just be scientific, right? Because we know when we open up our eyes, we're looking at particles. So you should be able to dissolve particles into waves with your concentration. That's what you're supposed to be able to do, and you take it further and further because you take that into your imagination. So once you are able to make things disappear from your reality, then you take that into your imagination and expand your imagination with shapes and reconstructing shapes and just building up your visualization skills. So it builds up your concentration and your visualization skills, right? All right. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Brianna? All right. I heard planetary magic is more powerful because everything is based on planetary magic. Every day is ruled by a planet. Every hour is ruled by a planet. Right, motherfuckers, like, I be talking about this shit, but trust me. Let me just show you. No. Let me show you. See this shit? These are planetary symbols. These are all the hours. This is just an app, right? It's a science. Right now, you see that? That's Saturn. Right now, it's the hour of Saturn. It's about to transition to the hour of Jupiter because it's a sequence. They go in a sequence, right? So right now, it's the hour of Saturn. So right now, that's why I've been turned up, devilish and all that, demons, archdevils. It's the hour of Saturn. I'm just showing you in real time. Right now, it's the hour of Saturn. So the whole time you've been watching this live stream, it's been an hour of Saturn. So go back, watch it again, or study it again, and you're like, oh, this is real chaotic, right? That's the hour of Saturn. If I record in a different hour, Maybe I should try it. Maybe I should experiment with you, mother. Just leave a comment. After this video is done, leave a comment if you want me to come live on different planetary hours so that you can see the difference with me, just how I present it. You know, sometimes I may be off, like, fuck. You know, certain hours, and certain hours I'm turned up. If you want me to show and prove it, because motherfucker, I'm a skeptic. If you don't want to be a skeptic, leave a fucking comment. You want me to show and prove it, then you put the work in. Leave the comment. Show me that you want it, and I'll do it. You see, it don't take no fucking effort. You know what I mean? Y'all show me what y'all want, and I give it to you. It's simple, right? Exchange, the law of exchange. The Akashic Records, sometimes we can tap into it. We're always tapped into the Akashic Records. That's not something we tap into, or we're always tapped into the Akashic Records through the unconscious mind. I'll say it that way. We're always tapped in through the unconscious, but not necessarily through the conscious mind. You were chosen. Well, we're all chosen for a mission. We're all chosen for a mission. So we are all chosen. But what are you chosen for? Like, I can look at my natal chart and see that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's another thing. I also verify that I'm supposed to be utilizing social media, teaching. But let me show you. Let me show you, though, right? So, you know, I'll show you. I can pull up my chart right now. So anybody who gets a chart done from me, this is what I'll be doing, right? But I just want to show and prove. So, like, okay, well, how do you know? So I'll just give you a live example, then we'll check out of my occupation. Because for this example, we would look towards the second house cusp, right? For the astrologers out there. So your ability to earn money and resources rest in your second house cusp. That tells you how you earn money, right? So I'm going to bring up my chart. And I'm just going to give a live example. So, my second house cusp. And again, you know, I use different systems, so, you know, the alignments will always change based on the house system you use and based on if you use Western astrology and Eastern astrology. So, my second house cusp is 23 degrees Scorpio. Now, this can be looked at two ways. So I'm gonna give y'all a free technique for y'all to decode this shit. I don't give it out, but I give it to you. All right? Because if you here, you want to be here, right? If you here, you want to learn. So I'm gonna give you something to feed on. I'm gonna feed the soul. If I already haven't, let me give you some technique. And I'm just using my own chart as an example, right? So my second house cusp is 23 degrees Scorpio. Now, if we go to the deacons, 23 degrees Scorpio is the third deacon of Scorpio. So the planet that rules over the third deacon of Scorpio is Venus. So we have Venus in Scorpio. If we take it to tarot, it's the Six of Cups. Right? We have, excuse me, it's not the 6, it's the 7. Not the 6, it's the 7, because after 21 degrees, it becomes the 7. Because the deacons are divided into 3 degrees, not 3 degrees, 3 sections of 10 degrees. So the first 10 degrees, yada, yada, yada. We don't have to go into the full science. So when Scorpio is in 23 degrees, right, we know Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto. We already know that. But depending on what degree or what deacon Scorpio is in, that gives Scorpio a co-ruler. So we have a ruler and we have a co-ruler based on the deacon. So we have Pluto already in the picture, but now we have Venus because 23 degrees Scorpio takes us to the planet Venus. So we have the two planets of Venus and Pluto. Now, we can look at it in a second way because we can look at the 2 and the 3. We can use numerology. So that's astrology. That's us utilizing astrology. If we use numerology to decode this, we know that the 2 is the moon and 3 is Jupiter, right? So we got the moon and we got Jupiter. So we either have Venus and Pluto or the moon and Jupiter, depending on which angle you want to look at it. In this particular case, we'll just look at it through the numerology terms. Because now, you know, when you add 2 and 3, you get 5. So you got 2, 3, and 5 with the Scorpio, all right? So you can say the sign of Scorpio represents shamanism, first and foremost. So you got a shaman. So because Scorpio is my second house cusp, that is earning power through shamanism. Is that not what the fuck I do? Okay. But let's get into more detail. Let's get into the specifics, because now we gotta go into the numbers. Let's go into the degree, because the degree gives us the specifics. You got astrologers that don't even acknowledge the degrees. I acknowledge the degrees. Anybody who get a reading, you know I acknowledge the degrees. We taking it real deep. It take me hours. Anyway, we have the moon, Jupiter, and Mercury. We know Mercury represents or rules over the third house, the house of Gemini, which represents the house of communications, or in this case, social media and media and social media. So through Mercury, my ability to be a seer, that's the moon, because the moon is the high priestess. Let's take it to the tarot. We take it to the tarot, the moon card is the high priestess, right? You got the high priestess, right? Now, we have shamanism from the Scorpio. We know that the second house is Taurus. So I'm just giving you an example of how I would even decode anybody's house cusp or any reading. This is just how my personal process is. We are comparing two signs. We know the second house is Taurus, because you got 12 houses, 12 zodiac signs. So the second house will be the second zodiac sign, which would be Taurus. So whenever we're talking about earning ability resources, we're talking about the zodiac sign of Taurus. So because the zodiac Taurus is the foundation of the second house, what's on top of that foundation is Scorpio. So you got Taurus and Scorpio coming together. What we need to acknowledge is Taurus and Scorpio are also opposite signs. The second house is opposite of the 8th house. So they are opposites, right? So you're dealing with a water element and you're dealing with an earth element. Water and earth synchronize together well, which is why Scorpio, or the 8th house, is a higher octave of the second house, which I talked about in the Secret Signs of Money, or whatever I titled it, right? You got the second house and you got the 8th house. So the house opposites represents the lower octaves and the higher octaves. Now we're talking about music. You see how I can just synchronize all this together because it's just one science, but nobody teaches you how to put it together. But I just have to show you the example how you can pull from any science and make any of this make sense, because this is not belief. This is science, and you can combine it with other fields of science and make it grander, because it's not something separate. It is the same. You must synchronize the spirituality with the science, right? And that's how you get the grand picture. So let's go back. Second house, Taurus. So you have Taurus and Scorpio. Taurus is your ability to earn power. Then the 8th house is the house of wealth. This is how you systemize your wealth. How do you build a system of wealth? You come in through the 8th house. So you got the second house, you got the 8th house, right? So for my particular house, I have Taurus and I have Scorpio, right? So basically, you got the second house and the 8th house. So because it's Scorpio, we basically can describe that as the 8th house. You got the combination of the second house and combination of the 8th house. The 8th house also represents stocks. Stocks. Most people don't know this shit either. Okay? I'm giving you the secrets. The 8th house is stocks or digital assets, because the second house represents tangible assets or movable assets. So the second house of Taurus represents movable assets. So assets that you can move, such as money, because you can move money, liquid, right? So the 8th house, being a higher octave of that, represents digital or stocks, digital currency, Bitcoin, shit like that, cryptocurrency, that shit, right? That's why that field is just so out of bounds for most people, because you're dealing with the energy of Scorpio. You're trying to understand that. Digital assets. So I just acknowledged earlier that I have about 900 pieces of content online. That's a form of digital assets. So this is what I mean. So 12th house, second house, Scorpio, representing digital assets. This is why I have so much digital assets, because that's my second house. You got Taurus and Scorpio coming together. You're earning power coming from your digital assets. So my ability to produce digital assets by putting out and providing information, I'm able to receive information or receive currency, receive money from that, from putting out information that enhances people's life. Then I can receive in return, because I've already helped. So it's not like I'm asking, I've already given, I've already helped digitally. So that's when a second house meets the 8th house, you have earning power from digital assets. And this is exactly what I do, and I'm just showing you the example of that through my chart. Now, because it's the 5 there, so we have the 2nd house and we have the 8th house through Taurus and Scorpio. We're not done because we still have to acknowledge the 2, the 3, and the 5. Because it's 23 degrees Scorpio, 2 plus 3 is 5. So how do we break that down? So we have the moon with 2, we have the 3 is Jupiter and 5 is Mercury. So Mercury represents media or social media. So on top of everything I just said, earning ability through digital assets, then you put the 5 with that, then that combines it with social media. I utilize social media, right? When you combine the 3 through Jupiter, Jupiter is the ability to teach and educate. So I utilize social media to teach and educate. Right and exact. Then finally, the moon is, well, the number 2 is the moon, right? So you got the 2 through the moon, and that's what makes you a seer. That's what makes you someone who can see beyond. That's the high priestess. The high priestess has the veil behind her. If you look at the card, the high priestess, she can tune into multiple realities, right? Which is what I fucking do. I'm teaching how to tune into different dimensions through the occult. So there you go. I've just used my own example of my own astrology and how my own alignments, I didn't make any of this up. This does not change. Your alignments don't change. Your progress chart changes. The transits change, but I'm looking at my natal chart, so those don't change. So I can't make any of these up. These are the actual numbers. 23 degrees Scorpio, it was right there. But you see how, because I understand what all of these symbols mean, I'm like, oh, this is actually what I do. Why? Because I have been born to do this. This is what I was supposed to do. This is why I am doing it unconsciously. So before I even knew how to interpret an astrology chart, I was already doing this. I was already doing this before I even knew how to interpret a chart. I didn't come to YouTube as an astrologer. I was teaching about astrology, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm an astrologer, get a reading from me. I didn't come on YouTube. And that's what I mean. That's what made me different. If you look at my older videos, I didn't even have any services. I would just spit my game. I didn't offer no service. I was just spitting, right? Over time, as I continued to study, I'm like, okay, now I can offer this as a service because I continue to study. And I'm giving you a live example right now. See, I'm using my own chart, and you see me doing this. I've been doing this for 6 years. So this ain't something I just was dabbling in and I just, I went on about my business. Some people treat YouTube like that. They dabble in it, they go. Now, I've taken my breaks, however, but I have to study. I have to take time to study. And then after I get the system right, then I can come like every day, every other day like I'm doing now, and I can just continue to build. Because I didn't acknowledge the system. I didn't build the system, now I can go. And once I finish dispensing everything I dispense, I got to create a new system, go back in, and do it again. It's just a process over and over and over again. So hopefully through me just breaking down a live example of my own chart, utilizing my own alignments, that should encourage you like, okay, this is not just belief. So belief is why I do what I do in real time. Is that belief that I'm showing what I do and I didn't know anything about those alignments when I made the decision to do this? So this was done on a subconscious and unconscious level. And now that I acknowledge it consciously, it's right and exact. It's not like I acknowledge all this consciously, then I look at my 2nd house cusp and it's wrong. And it doesn't, it shows me exactly what I'm doing because it's all mathematics. We are bound to our charts. You cannot do whatever the fuck you want to do. We were built to do specific things, to serve a specific purpose in the universe. This just so happened to be mine. Is this the apex? No, this is just where I am currently building. There is no limits, of course, but the foundation is there. So the natal chart just gives you the foundation. It's not going to necessarily tell you where you're going to end up, but it's going to tell you this is the foundation. These are the tools that you will be utilizing when it comes to earning money. So even if I wasn't on YouTube, I would be on some form of social media doing what I'm doing now because I'm born or geared to do this based on my alignments more so than maybe I should do this because I need an extra source of income, some shit like that. Because some people utilize it like that. Some people, it's more about diversifying their income, so on and so forth. Nothing wrong with it. This is not a career for most people. Most people are not YouTubers. They may do YouTube on the side and have another job and, doing other things. So there are very, 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 very few YouTubers who do this and nothing else. Where they're not punching the clock. They're on this. If they don't make videos, they don't eat. It's not too many people who's on that because it takes a different level of dedication. Why? Because you're not getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. You don't have the comfort of, oh, I can do whatever I want. I know I'm getting paid at the end of the week every 2 weeks. You don't have that safety net. You know that your pay is based on how much work you put out. So the more you work, the more you get paid. That's the laws that you are under when you do this. If you are willing to work harder for less, because you're not even going to get an immediate return, you're not going to get immediate gratification. You got to get it on the back end. That's the same way with stocks. You got to invest and you got to maybe wait for a year, a couple years before you double up, triple up, quadruple your money. It takes some time, to receive your rewards. But that's how currency works. See, that's the difference between money and currency. Money you can get every day. Money is that's money. Currency takes some time. You gotta you're gonna get a large amount to receive, but it takes a little time. You gotta have some type of patience. You can't utilize emotion with this. Because if you get in your feelings, I'm not getting no views. That's how most people give up. Most people give up. They're not getting views, put out 10, 20 videos. They don't see the views. Then they give up because it wasn't their career. They were just trying to do some shit for fun. You don't get to do this shit for this long and you ain't supposed to be here. This ain't what you're supposed to be doing. You would have got over it and went to somewhere else and just did something else. Once I made the decision to do this, this is all it's been. This is all it's been. Maybe I should do something else. I'm going to be within social media everywhere. So if you click on any of the descriptions, you're going to find me somewhere on social media doing something. Because that's my alignments, right? So enough of that. Enough of that. All right. Peace, peace. Yeah, I see a lot of people mentioning Pluto. So yeah, study your Pluto. That's what you need to do. Study your Pluto. This is a Plutonian year. All right? So 305 Capricorn. Is it possible you have already worked with some demons in the past life? Absolutely, I'm sure. But they say that in the Emerald Tablets of Thought for those who have read. If you are a mystic in this life, you have always been it. Once you decide to be this, there's no getting out. It's like a gang. It's like death. The only way out is death. Meaning I'm going to die a mystic. This ain't something that I can turn on and turn off when I get tired of it. That's why I can give my all to I'm in this till death. You know what I mean? I'm in the occult till death. There is no turning back. There is no, I got older and I'm going to Jesus and you know what? Maybe I don't need to work with demons no more. I need to be angelic. No, I don't get to do that. I don't get to make that decision because I've already made my pact. So yeah, so if it comes from a different, yes, but it's already in you. If you are that in this life, you were already that in a past life. Meaning you can say, does some of what you say come from your spiritual inheritance or your South Node? Because your South Node represents how you clear out karma, but also your spiritual inheritance. Well, yeah, you could say that, sure. However, whether it's there or not, we still are bound to our chart. You expand beyond your chart after you master it. The only way you are no longer bound to your natal chart is after you master it. And that's why I give that service. If you want to break beyond the limits of your natal chart, you have to at least master it. And that's when you advance into the progress chart and the transits, when it starts getting a lot more technical. You know what I mean? Because you can literally predict everything. I can answer questions that no one else can answer because I study. I can tell you when you're going to have romantic love, when you're going to get money, because it's all mathematics. It's all based on what planets are powerful in your chart. And I can cast a year-long chart for you, and I can tell you what months and what days you need to be. All right, this is based on the numerology, but it's just super complex. It's like doing calculus, right? But you're just doing it in real time. So instead of doing calculus and building machines and all that, I'm just teaching people like this is Whatever you need in your life, do it on that day, at that hour. Do it then. Do it then. I'm just giving you pinpoints, references to where and when, where you need to be, where you should be, in order to get what it is that you're trying to receive. Because the planets must give it to you. The planets must give you what you are asking for. So if the planets do not support your desire, they're not going to give it. You're not giving it to yourself. There will be no need for a manifestation if we can just give ourselves whatever we want. You have to receive your blessings, right? You got to receive it. But you got to be at the right place at the right time. Timing is key. If you are not at the right place or time to receive your blessings, you're not going to receive it. What do I mean? Let me give you a live experiment and experience, right? Both of them. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean, because I know I'll be speaking a lot of this, but it may not make sense till I give an actual example. What do I mean? For example, I was born on the 18th day, right? 1 + 8 = 9. 9 is Mars. The day of Mars is Tuesday. The day you were born, the numerology of your birth, in terms of the day, because I was born on the 18th day, that is the most important number in your life. In terms of numerology, it's the day you were born, not the month, not the year, the day. Because that's a number that affects you every day. So you got the month you were born, that's like it's more, you can say it has less of an influence. Then of course you got your year number, which has even of a less influence. So you got the year influence, you got the month influence, but then you got the daily influence, which changes every single day. This is the science of numerology. Numerology is every day. We know, so for example, if we look at today's date, it's the 25th. So you can say 2 + 5 is 7. So it's a 7-day for everybody. But it may be a different day for you personally based on your numerology or your alignments. So for example, my day, it's a 7-day for the world, but based on my alignments, this is a 6-day for me, based on my alignments. And again, we learn all this through numerology, like what's your day, your month, your year, and comparing it to the world and all that. That's, again, this is all high science. You just get a lot of reward if you are willing to put that work in. And that's why I offered this as a service, because it's not easy to do. Because you're looking at mathematics and if you look at astrology, it ain't nothing but numbers and glyphs. There's no examples. I'm not Googling what any of this means. I have to use my own mind. So as when you get to a certain level, you're supposed to use your own mind. You use all the basic definitions as a reference, but eventually you got to use your own mind. Because that's how you start discovering things that you can't discover from other people. You got to discover from your own chambers. Right? Eventually. So, numerology helps us to acknowledge that. So, my live example is, because I was born on the 18th day, my daily number is 9. So that means my lucky day, for example, is Tuesday. So because I know that Tuesday is a favorable day for me, regardless. Right? Tuesday is a favorable day. Why do you think I'm on here right now? It's fucking Tuesday. When the last time I did a live stream this long? Science is what allows this, because I know I'm the most powerful on Tuesdays. I'm going to go on here and I'm going to do a long live stream. This may be the longest one I did this year. Right? Because I know the science behind it. I know, like, okay, I'm the most powerful on Tuesday, so I need to do this Tuesday. So that's why I'm coming this way on Tuesday. So I'm just giving you a live example. You see it. I'm doing it right now. This is the longest stream I've had, but I'm at my most powerful because it's Tuesday, because of my numerology alignment. So this is me using numerology. This is me using astrology. This is me using alchemy. This is me using the tarot. This is me using all of it. Science, mathematics. This is me using all of it at the same time and pulling descriptions out of the universe. Decoding reality bit by bit, piece by piece. And this is what I do every day. And this is the only reason why I offer it as a service, because I'm doing it every day. I don't take a day off. There's no days off. So I'm like, I feel that I'm only qualified because, like, whatever work you do, you should be doing it every day. Whatever it is that you do every day, that should be your work. So because I do this every day, I'm always doing this. So that's why I'm only qualified because this is my life. If it wasn't something that I live, if it was only something I studied, then I wouldn't offer it. If I didn't live it, then I couldn't. I can tell you things that an astrologer can't tell you who's not living this. I can look at your chart and see things because I'm actually on the ground level and I'm in the skies. I'm in the skies with the stars, with the constellations, but I'm also on the ground with numerology. So I can keep it grounded. So that's the only reason why I offer it as a service. That's it. That's it. For those who want to know, right? And again, I can do all types of stuff. I just haven't put it out yet. I can do all types of stuff. I just haven't put it out. Why? Because I want to master everything I do before I present it. So I'm not going to damage anybody like this to say just because I work with dark forces or demonic forces don't mean that I'm going to transfer energy to anyone else. Like if you just want a natal chart reading, I'm not going to talk to you about demons because there's no need for it. So I mean, when you study everything, you don't have to talk about it. I can have a full conversation without acknowledging anything negative. We can have a fully positive conversation because I have enough knowledge in that area, so I don't have to pull it from anywhere else. But that's just years and years and years and years of not just study, but experiments. So not just experience, because I feel experience, the reason why I keep getting those words confused, because experience is like something happening to you. Experiment is more internal. So I would say it's more of an experiment, because experience, again, having a great experience, it's more what's coming at you. When you are doing an experiment, you're projecting. So I'm always doing experiments. I'm always the one projecting. I'm always the one evocating every single day. I'm summoning something and having a conversation with this and acknowledging it and pulling information from it that you can't find in the books. I had full conversation with spirits, and it's stuff that ain't gonna ever be in books. It's stuff that I can't even speak about publicly because everything ain't for public. Which is why I created the website. But I'm like, man, I'm tired of getting information that I can't put out because motherfuckers, they're going to delete the channel and all this shit. You have rules and regulations on YouTube. So I had to build my own website. I'm not going to do whatever the fuck I want. And that's the whole thing. Because everything is not going to come, in a public forum because people are not ready to hear everything. I can talk about some real crazy shit, but I'm not going to talk about it. It's like straight from spirit. You know what I mean? There are certain spirits that just literally want to fuck you in your dreams and teach you while they're fucking you. There's just some crazy, this clip-offic magic. This is a clip-offic, but there's no reason to speak about this stuff if people are still afraid, demons. You know what I mean? They still get tight with that shit, man. You do not know the power you have by tapping into your own alter ego. But fear, you got to get over, you got to slay the demon. It's like you have to slay the demon, then it becomes your, I don't want to say slave, but you have control over the demon after you have to make it submit to you. Like a dog. It's like you got to make the motherfucker submit to you. Not a dog. Let's go beyond a lion. Are you able to go into the woods, or not the woods, the jungle? Are you able to go into a jungle and not get devoured by an animal? It's possible with occult science because there's a way to talk to animals. There's a way to talk to spirits. You can do that. You can have a full conversation with a fucking lion like, yo, I need your help. And the motherfucker talking to you. Yeah, the apples over there, dude. You know what I mean? Whatever you need, just let us know. Like, just some crazy shit that we don't even, just some crazy shit. Like, yo, I'm talking to motherfucking lion in English. But it ain't English. It's the language of the birds. That's the universal language, right? That's why we can hear music and it registers and it translates to something because it's not just what it is on the surface. It also translates. So you can say these sounds are projecting images into the ectoplasm. Images and imagery is being projected into the ectoplasm through sound. So it's all type of images being projected because of that sound. Now, if I came in here with some fucking hip-hop, and I'm not going to come in with hip-hop because, again, it's rights and copyrights. So I'm not gonna ever lie. I know I was doing that shit years ago, but I'm not going to do it again because because what happens when you put music in your videos, you basically are allowing them to put ads on your videos, and you are allowing them to collect a certain portion of what you earn, if you earn anything, which I don't, because I don't have ads on my videos. So if you see ads on my videos, it's not because I don't earn any money from ads. Another reason why I'm different and why I don't have to do certain things. I don't rely on YouTube ad money. I don't have ad revenue. That's not a source of income for me. So YouTube does not give me any checks. I get no checks from YouTube, right? However, if you are a person that does get checks from YouTube, then you see there's a greater motive to do fuck shit. There's a greater motive to do things that you would just do just to get views or just to get numbers. Again, I don't do those type of videos. I don't do videos because there's some shit happening in the world and I use it as an opportunity to project myself. Well, I'm gonna talk about somebody else's life that I don't never met, I don't know nothing about. I just never got into that field because I don't care to do any of that. I don't care to talk about anybody else. There's enough to talk about. We got enough invisible energies to comprehend and to study. It's enough going on in our own psyche. We don't need to speak about no outside drama, which is why I don't speak about it, except to compare it to internal circumstance. Like if I talk about what's going on outwardly, like it's the year 2020, I'm still taking it back to it's the moon and Pluto. So you gotta work with your lunar energy and your ability to transforming lunar energy. So I'm still taking it back to what you have to do for you on a personal level. But you also, well, what is your personal year? Numerology tells you what's your personal year. So we got 2020, which breaks down to 4, which is the energy of Uranus. So outwardly, this is the year of Uranus. You can say if we break it down and reduce it to a single digit, this is the energy of Uranus. However, your personal year, that's what numerology does. Again, that's why I do numerology, astrology, and Kabbalistic, right? And we'll talk about the Kabbalistic next. With the numerology, it tells you your personal year. So if you know this year is a Uranus year, then you compare it to your year, then you are working with something. So you know what's going on outside of you, and you also know what's going on inside of you. You compare the two. Well, what's the relationship between this planet and this planet? What's the relationship between this number and that number? What's the relationship between this Hebrew letter and that Hebrew letter? Now we're talking about the Kabbalistic system. This is more what I talk about on the website. I just incorporate the Hebrew into everything I'm speaking. So the website, so for people who just want to know, the only difference between what I do publicly and what I do on the website is I acknowledge the Hebrew correspondence. So everything that I said can be corresponded to a Hebrew letter. I just don't speak about it because it will make it way too complex, so I just do it separately. So that's basically what the website is. I'm just acknowledging the Kabbalistic and the Hebrew with the planets, with the zodiacs, with the occult. It's a bigger spectrum. It's the only difference. So if you don't care about that, then you're good right here. But if you like, okay, you want to go deeper, then I opened up an avenue for you to do that, if that's your choice. All right. Can you talk about jail or rebels? It's the halls of a mentee. When you go to jail, or people or beings that are in jail, it's the equivalent to being in the halls of a mentee. That's why jail has this, jail doesn't just have a stigma, but it also has like a allure. There's an allure, yeah, with the rebellious men and women and the that. So jail has a stigma, like you don't want to be there. But the ones who come out of jail, you see like, yo, these motherfuckers is like specimens. Like they're a whole other type of human being. Like, yo, they just able to move and navigate on a superior level. That's because when you go to jail, it's like you're going into the earth. You're going into the underground of the earth. You're going into the halls of a mentee. If you're not familiar with that term, then get familiar with the term. It's just going back to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, underneath the Great Pyramid of Giza. It is a portal to the halls of a mentee. Again, if you want more information, it's in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. I'm going to give you the reference just to let it be known I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. This is real shit, all right? Jail represents the halls of a mentee. So the more familiar you get with the halls of a mentee, that's where you are when you're in jail. Which is why some people come out more fucked up and others come out more refined. It's all about what you do when you're in there. And when it comes to that rebellious streak, this is why we're in 2020. You have to be invisible. It's not to not be a rebel. You just have to do so invisibly. You can't let it be known. You can't bring attention to yourself. You can be that, but do it in secret, do it in quiet, do it inside. Because it's the moon. Remember, if we are in 2020, we got 2 and we got 0, we got the moon and we got Pluto. If we take it to the house, the moon rules over the 4th house, Pluto rules over the 8th house. So we got a combination of the 4th house and the 8th house. The 4th house represents your home, the 8th house represents wealth. Home, wealth. Building your wealth from home. Home, well, how do you build your wealth from home? Inside. Inside. Your home, meaning your third eye, going inside of your home, your temple. Temple wealth. Do you acknowledge the wealth that is contained within your own temple? That's what 2020 is about, because if you don't, you got the energy to transform it through Pluto. Pluto, like, all right, you don't acknowledge it, let's acknowledge it now. Let's perfect it now. That's all it is, right? Numerology gives us secrets to all things. All things can be revealed and understood through the occult. All right. And I know the music. You're not gonna hear nothing like this anywhere else. Trust me. What does it mean when they're saying Saturn is losing its rings? It's just something that they don't understand. The planets have cycles that they have yet to acknowledge. So whenever they see some type of new phenomenon, it's just new to them because they're modern scientists. They don't know. They don't know what it means when Saturn's rings. They don't know what they're like. Oh shit, we don't know because they don't acknowledge history. They don't acknowledge. Well, they don't read what they will. There's already so much information about Saturn and the nature of Saturn, but they don't acknowledge it. So when they see it, they're like, oh, they don't know what's going on because they don't read and they don't want to acknowledge. They want to build their own reality and they want to make their own definitions as to what it means. It has a meaning. Saturn has a nature. But if you're going off of what scientists are saying or what NASA is saying or what they think is going on, then you're just going to be lost. But Saturn does that. That's just the nature of Saturn. Saturn does what Saturn does. Is it room to make a big deal about it? Only if you're new to this. Only if you don't acknowledge the past. If you just, we don't know what's going on. It's a new phenomenon. It's never happened before. Well, that's the type of energy that you get. All right. Thanks for all you do. No problem. Morbid clown. Morbid clown. No, clowns be coming to me. So, that's a personal thing. You know what I mean? I may just be sitting back on the couch, motherfucking scary face pop up. But that's what happens when you're working with chaotic energy. You're like, oh shit, who is that? Now I gotta figure out who it is. So that's what I'm just giving you an example of how this shit works. You may get an impression. You may see a scary ass face. You just, boom, like, oh fuck, what was that? Now it wakes you up. Now you gotta discover, oh shit, what the fuck was that? I'm thinking I'm gonna take a nap, right? I'm thinking, let me chill out for a minute. No, you don't. Wake your ass up. It will wake you up out your sleep. It'll wake you up out your sleep. But if you're not prepared for that, because for me, I'm not scared, like, oh shit, what's going on? I'm like, oh, it's on to work. And I started putting in that work. I'm like, all right, let me go deeper. Let me see what that was. Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, all right, I'm like, it's time to work. It gave me a burst of energy. However tired I was, now I'm not tired. I'm like, oh shit, it's time to work now because I know I'm about to receive some new information working with this energy. Once I go through the process, I'm about to receive some new shit. It's like a present. So I'm ready to receive. But is it simple? No. Is it sometimes, is it going to wake you up out your sleep? Is it going to make you restless at times? Absolutely. But this is what happens when this is a lifestyle, when it's not something you cut on and you cut off at your own leisure. When you choose to live this every day regardless, when you dedicate your life to this, when I am the messenger of this. So wake me up at 2 a.m. if some shit gotta be revealed, wake me up. When you're that serious, I'm available 24/7, because I'm available 24/7. Anybody can call me, not call me, but if you want services, boom. 3 a.m, I can give you a natal reading. I will wake the fuck up and do it because it's no problem because this is what I'm doing anyway. Because I'm like, if I truly live this, then somebody should be able to contact me at any time and they get services. If you live this, you shouldn't be doing anything else. All right, so yeah, it's pretty fun once you get over the fear. All right, once you get over the fear, it's pretty interesting. All right. Yeah, shout out to the 18th. You was born on the 18th. Shout out to you. Yeah, exactly. How does it work? How to get with you live for this reading? Okay, so for anybody who want to contact me for any type of service, so even if it's not, you can go to my website. But the only thing on my website is the Kabbalistic reading, right? So that's the only service on there. Cause I have to, I'm still building, I'm still adding on to it all the time. So any occult service you need, just email me, asha@asharenew.com, or send me a text, 702-530-1197. Simple, right? Just that simple. Email or text. Then the text obviously would translate to a call. Now, I can do live readings. If you want me to do it for you live, I can do that. If you want it pre-recorded, so if it's just something you want to save, you want to have for yourself, and you just want to listen to it whenever you want, I can do that as well. So just send me an email or send me a text, and we'll set it up. No problem. You know what I mean? Just that simple. Don't worry about the hours. It does not matter. It does not matter. If you want that work done, I will wake the fuck up out my sleep. It does not matter. It just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I'm just that serious. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're the first one I've seen that's actually intellectual with spirituality. You bridge these gaps with rational and creative outlets combined. Because I have to show you the real reality. I have to show you that it's real. I have to show you that this is not supposed to make you a spacey person that does not acknowledge science, that wants to be more into the fantasy world. I will keep you grounded. That's why I offer the service. I will keep you grounded, but I will also take you to Pluto. I can show you the sun, and I can show you Pluto. But it all will be grounded. So yes, I'm going to be scientific, because you see how it makes it a lot easier to comprehend. That's why, because no one else is doing it. No one else, like, you motherfuckers ain't doing this. So I had to do it. You see how easy it is to comprehend when I apply the science instead of ignoring it? When I apply the science, it makes it so much easier to comprehend. Now I'm speaking about topics that are so hard to comprehend without science, but because I add the science, it's like, oh, this is all it is? It don't seem too mysterious, right? It just seems like some real shit. It don't seem crazy. You just need the science, though. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, definitely. Spiritual people will be delusional without a scientific basis. If you don't have a scientific basis, you will get lost eventually. You may not be lost now, but you don't neglect science, but don't neglect spirituality either. Utilize them both. That's why we're in the age of Aquarius, Uranus, year 2020. Yeah, you can definitely, the Aquarian energy is definitely enhanced due to it being a Uranus year, definitely. But I'm the first motherfucker to tell you that too. So no one else is like, oh, 4 represents Uranus. No, they were saying 4 is a different planet, or 4 is Rahu and 7 is K2. I told you 7 is Neptune. I told you 0 is Pluto. No one else is saying that. So I gave you the 10 planets so you can compare them to the 10 numbers. So 10 numbers, 10 planets, so all this is equal. You don't have to, oh, well, where is this planet? Because if you just work with 1 through 9, you don't acknowledge Pluto. So any numerologist who is not even acknowledging 0, they're cheating you out of something that you can have. Like, it's a whole planet that you're not even acknowledging. But I'm like, oh, the 0 actually means something. Oh, it's Pluto. Now we got an attribute to 0. Ain't nobody else did that. That's what I'm saying. I can give you original information because it's coming from the spirit. I don't have to read nobody else's works. I can make original discoveries because it's always information coming through. It's unlimited. Knowledge is unlimited. It's unlimited. All right. El Cristo Negro. What's up, Alejandro? What's up, man? What's up, man? Salute to you, man. Salute to you, man. It's always respect and love. Yeah, Alejandro was one of the ones when I was going through them chambers. I was going through the darkness. You know what I mean? Like, yo, let me show you some real shit. You know what I mean? It's ultimate love. It's ultimate love for that, man. He was the one that showed me the fairies. Let's just be real. Like, yo, let me show you these fairies. Let me show you the invisible, because he got the sight. It was an honor to be around somebody who can see. It was an honor, trust me, because You know, the Mexican culture, the Hispanic culture, the Latin culture, they're visualizers. They can see that shit. I'm more of a speaker, as you see. I'm more of a creative. I can speak. I can put words together. But I'm not really a clairvoyant. I get flashes. But somebody who can, like, literally go into that shit, nah. I'm still working on that. Anyway, right? Shout out to you, man. I just want to acknowledge, you know what I mean? Like, somebody I actually met in person. So I'm just letting everybody know that's somebody I actually met in person. You know what I mean? They let me in their home and everything. You know what I mean? Held his son and all that. You know what I mean? The real love. This is beyond internet. So I just want to show you the love, man. Proper respect. Appreciate you for the hard work. No doubt, James. What's up, Donald? James, 2020 Vision. I mean, shout out to you, Donald. You already know. You know what I mean? Everybody. You know what I mean? Y'all see me. I be working with motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Doing music. I don't think you can get a verse from them. Who else can you get a verse from? Who's this deep in the occult? Who else can give you a verse? I don't know. You get one from me, though. You can get one from me. All right. Do you have methods on opening your third eye? Use lunar energy or the energy of the moon. The third eye represents the moon, the planet moon. Study your natal chart. For those who don't want to get it from me, just get it online. You know what I mean? Because you just have to do it yourself. If you want to do it yourself, you got enough knowledge, do it yourself. Study your moon sign, because the moon represents your subconscious. So your subconscious is how you influence your third eye. So your third eye shows you what's going on in your subconscious. So if you want to study your subconscious, you must study your psyche. The moon is connected with your psyche. All this is done by slowing down your brain waves and getting into a meditative state or being aware while you dream. You have to turn off your conscious mind to study the subconscious. You can't be constantly aware and studying the subconscious. You got to get at least to an alpha brainwave state, at least have your eyes closed and looking inside yourself at least. But you have to study the subconscious by turning off or slowing down the conscious. You have to get out of beta brainwaves into alpha, theta, and delta brainwaves to influence the third eye and all that. You got to slow down your brainwaves. Simple as that. That's what I'm saying. We're going to just use science. Slow down your brainwaves. When we are in beta brainwaves, we're thinking, processing information. You ain't doing no meditation with that. You got to get at least to alpha. That's when you're alert, but you're not processing information. Alpha is alert, but not processing information. Then theta, subconscious. Delta, unconscious. Who else is telling you that? Comparing it to the brain waves. Take you to the Greek alphabet, because that's when you learn the deeper levels of astrology with the fixed stars. When you start studying the fixed stars, you have to study the Greek alphabet. And again, we're not gonna go into that now. But these alphabets, these ancient alphabets that nobody want to acknowledge because people were primitive, they have so many magical codes to help you decode all this shit. The Hebrew alphabet is helping you decode the planets and the zodiac. Then the Greek alphabet helps you to decode the fixed stars. This is what that does, and all this is bullshit. All right. I'm just gonna be, I'm with the shits. I'm with the Greek and the Hebrew alphabet. How do I find out my sun sign? You have to get your natal chart done. So you can do this shit up free on Google. Again, you don't have to come to me. Either come to me if you want an occult perspective, or get it on Google. Just type in natal chart calculator on Google. Latin as well, I agree. The Latin as well. Yes, so Hebrew, Greek, Latin. I acknowledge the Latin is all these ancient languages have a occult meaning, not just as a speaking language. You can speak English, right? But then English becomes magical when you speak it in a rhythmic way. When we do music, when you speak it in rhythm. I am an MC that studied the school of mystery, the sacred imagery, set of flame, kundalini, select, seven rise. Rhythm. If I start speaking like that, it affects you differently than me speaking like this. Because when I speak like this is affecting your left brain. When I speak in rhythm with music, that's affecting the right brain. So that's going into your subconscious versus your conscious mind. So English can be used directed towards the left brain or the right brain. It all depends, right? It all depends on what you're trying to do as an occultist. Are you trying to hit the left brain, or are you trying to hit the right brain? Or are you trying to synchronize them both? Which is what I'm doing, because I got the music playing in the background to affect the right, but I'm also speaking to you. So I'm synchronizing them both. It's weird ass music. Like, oh, what kind of music is this, right? Yeah. You wouldn't expect that type of music to be associated with what I'm talking about, right? But I'm here to break barriers, right? Like, yeah, you're gonna hear some music like this with topics like this, right? All right, what we got? Ice showers. Yeah, yeah. I've taken cold ass showers, and it definitely increases your energy. So yeah, if you're dealing with fatigue, cold showers, ice showers. He also has breathing techniques as well. Yeah, so for those who want to master the water element, the cold element, I would say do that. It's all about elemental magic at the end of the day. It all depends on what element do you favor. So if you favor element, the water element, then you want to experiment with cold water as well as hot water. And to master the element, it all depends on which element you want to master. Because each element has a higher intelligence to it. Sounds like Detroit house music. Well, I'm from Detroit. You feel me? I touched down here. That's my birth city. You know what I mean? God damn. So that's even though I'm on the West Coast, even though I'm in Vegas, I'm on the West Coast. But of course, we have our blueprint. You can't change the blueprint, right? The mark on me is Detroit. The consciousness is West Coast. The frequency is East Coast. You know what I mean? That's why you see I'm in all black. I'm on my East Coast vibe. I don't really like the West Coast, like the colors and all that. You see me, I'll be in all black all the time. Anytime you see me, you see I'm mostly in black. That's just me. That's what New York. When I went to New York, I saw that black. It's been on and popping. You know what I mean? So I'll be blacked out. Do I activate those Hebrew words like mantras? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can use the Hebrew words like mantras if you want. You know. It all depends on what you're comfortable with. So I'm not going to tell you to start using Hebrew and you're not drawn to it. Like for me, I'm very drawn to Hebrew. But it didn't take any effort. I didn't have to fuck, this is a language. Like, for example, I'm not drawn to Arabic at all. So let me just say the difference. If you put some Arabic, I don't want to, it's like, I don't resonate with it at all. I don't resonate with Arabic. But Hebrew, I've always had a connect. It was easy to me to learn Hebrew, especially because it was connected to the occult. So once I started studying the tarot, then you see those Hebrew letters are connected to the tarot cards. So it was just a natural evolution. So that's why the Hebrews is more connected to the occult than the other languages, because it's directly correlated to the Kabbalistic systems. All right. Have I ever heard of the Silver Method and other ways to tap into alpha brain waves? Nah. Because again, I'm not getting this information from studying. I'm not on the internet getting this information. So for the people who ask me about the methods, no, because that's not where I'm getting the information from. I'm getting this directly from the spirit. So I'm not going out Googling, oh, what's that method? Like I didn't even know. I don't know anything about the methods. I'm just speaking what's coming to me. Oh, what's up, teenager? Did you get profound results like clean? Yeah, clean. I've been using clean for 10 years. I learned about clean in 2009. I learned about clean in 2009. It's 2020 now, so I've known about clean for 10 years. And clean is what kept me alive when I was in them streets. With clean, because it's the frequency of Venus. It's like tapping into the frequency. I didn't had some profound dreams with clean. Clean, I didn't had dreams, like 3D dreams and shit. Like it's been crazy with that. But that's invocation, mantras, all that, invocation. Invocation is very powerful if you really lock your mind with it. But you gotta lock your mind with it. How much a reading? It all depends on what type of reading you get. So text me or email me and you have to tell me what you want. And I make the prices based on the level of detail. So price is based on how much work do I have to do. So if you just want a basic reading, like basically a reading from Sun all the way to Pluto, or your 10 numbers, like you just want the basic, you want an introduction, then you ain't paying no more than $50 for that. But if you want me to really get into my bag, you want me to mix it all up, then you gotta pay a bill. You gotta get at least 100. I ain't scared to say the prices. You paying 100. If you want me to get into my bag, but if you want the foundation layer, it's only 50. However, if you want services that I did not mention, if you want a custom service, then we can talk about customized prices. You know what I mean? You just gotta talk to me. Just reach out, let me know what you need, and just depending on how much work it requires, that's how much I'm gonna charge you. How much work is this gonna require me to do? So like if I have to do a pre-recording for you, and if I do a pre-recording, you're gonna get at least 90 to 120 minutes. If you get a pre-recording, so you get between 90 and 120 minutes, because it's intricate. So versus if I'm giving you a reading live, and you're taking the notes instead of me taking the notes and recording it, then it's different. So all I gotta do is interpret it for you, and you take the notes, versus I gotta interpret it and take the notes and record it. So it just all depends on how much work do you want done. So if you just need a basic service, then just let that be known. If you want me to really get into my bag, let that be known. If you want something custom, then let that be known. We can do any type of business you want to do. You know what I mean? 24/7. You know what I mean? I'm just really that serious about it. Is stream good when you're in the streets? Yeah. Any invocation is good. As long as you're doing something. I was always doing something. It wasn't always clean. It wasn't always streamed. I was digging in the bag. Like there's unlimited mantras from whatever system you're using it. So you just had to be consistent. Like I was doing it all day, every day, all day. That's the difference. I wasn't just doing it for an hour. I was doing it every day. Because when you in the streets, you don't got shit else to do but be disciplined or fall off, because there's temptation everywhere. There's temptation everywhere. You have to make a decision to be cool, to fall back and to study nature without having to engage in nature in a way that's going to make you go off your square. Right? So when you are amongst the chaos, you got to have your mentalism on point or you will fail. Again, which is why you have seen me all around the country. This is nothing. I'm still here. Why? Because of this. The occult keeps me here. The occult keeps me grounded. The occult keeps me from danger. The occult also keeps me from endangering people, because, there are certain people that want to get disrespectful, I be taking pictures and shit. You know what I mean? I be taking my little pictures. If you follow me on IG, I just deleted all my pictures. I just got like professional looking pictures. I be doing this shit. It be little haters. Like for example, I'll give you a personal experience. Just taking a picture by a water fountain. Vegas, you got all types of stuff to take pictures of. It's all over the place. So there's no water. There's no water in this fountain. It's a water fountain, but there's no water. So I still want to take the picture. So I'm taking the picture anyway. So it was like a group of eight motherfuckers. Older, like motherfuckers, 40, 50, 60s. Like a group of motherfuckers, right? Who look opposite than me. They're like, oh, they decide, they like eyeing me up and down and shit. Then they decide to like throw coins in the fountain with no water. Basically as a sign of disrespect. So they're like throwing coins at me, right? For whatever reason. I'm like, oh, it's 8 of you. Oh, you think, man, you think you can do, okay. So what I did, I'm like, okay, let me, I'm gonna scar these people. This is Pluto and Capricorn. So what I did, so they're like, they're laughing, ha. They think they just got away with some shit, right? So I'm like, okay. Let me walk up. So I let them get some space, let them walk. They thought everything was cool. Then I started walking with powering straight to them real quick. And before I got to them, they scattered. It's a group of, just imagine a group of 8 motherfuckers scattered. Like they not even together. Like I just started aggressively charging. Like they didn't know it. They scattered. They didn't want no piece of it. I'm like, yep, that's what you get. Why? Because I understand. Because once you turn your back, now I can influence your unconscious mind. When you turn your back, you're fooled. You're fooled. And when they turn their back, it's like, you feel the devil behind you. It's not fun. Just giving you an example of when you're dealing with darker energies, everybody's not going to like it. Everybody's not going to appreciate you. You want to exalt yourself. The self-deification, everybody's not going to appreciate that. So you're going to have haters, but don't let them get away with it. Right? Don't be afraid to shed blood. Let me not say that, right? Let me not say that. Only be on defense, right? If somebody is picking on you, then you gotta really make sure that that doesn't happen again. Tolerate no levels of disrespect. Because I already know. I know that, I know when there's false courage. I'm like, oh, this is false courage. People with a little alcohol in their system, they think, oh, I got me and my homies with me, ain't nothing gonna happen to us. Until you realize that you're not just dealing with a human being, you're dealing with spirits, a whole pantheon of spirits. Which is why you have 8 physical me who are all taller than me. I'm not tall at all. I'm not tall at all taller than me. Maybe even shorter than me. You see, I don't got muscles all over the place. I'm small, skinny, but powerful with invisible forces. And that's why I'm making grown men scatter like roaches. Like, yo, you don't want no peace. Like, you all could have gathered up and beat my ass. But that's not how it works when you linked in and you tapped in. You know, nobody's gonna take advantage of you in that fashion. It's just not gonna happen, right? Like I told earlier, the shield. Most people would have backed out. Oh, it's 8 of them. I get y'all later. What can I do? I'm little old me against 8 motherfuckers. Nah. Let me know. I'm gonna actually. There's just nothing that they can do. Because what they felt to make them scatter was real. I didn't have to lift a finger. That's my point. I didn't have to execute no destruction. I didn't have to lift a finger because they felt the power. Like, oh, the disrespect, all right? I'm just saying, I have fun with it because I know it. I know it's false confidence and I know it's false courage. And I like absorbing it. I absorbed all of that energy and left them dead. I took all of their courage, all of that spirit, all of that courage juice and left them like dead beings. That's what I do. Only when they activate it though. It's like you become a vampire and you just suck their life out. That's what you do, right? Only those who mess with you though. You suck their life out. All right, where we at? Your spells and magic, doing it your way is always powerful than reading it from a book or a video you've seen. I remember when you was in New York, yeah. Just mind you, I went to New York and I didn't know nobody. I was in New York, in Manhattan, didn't know anybody for a whole fucking month. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not just, yes, everybody goes to New York. You can travel to New York, whatever. Nothing special. I was in New York with no connections for a whole month. There, not bitching up, oh, I don't know what to do. No. Come out there with very little resources, no connections. Never been to the city before in my life. That was my first time there. And was there for a whole month. And made it happen. Motherfuckers are not doing that. They're not doing that. Motherfuckers in the city over a weekend, a couple days, and they gone. No. Same thing, when I was in Atlanta like a whole month. When I was in DC, I'd be in these places. When I do travel, I'd be in these places for weeks. I don't just in and I'm out. But anyway, you want to see that? That's already been documented. We don't have to keep rehashing the past. All right, where we at? What about if I need to know how to utilize my chart to gain money so then I can get a more in-depth reading? Yeah. I can show you how to get rich. All that. Because it's already in your chart. So again, I don't have to sell you dreams. I don't have to tell you something that's not true. I can just tell you what's there. I can read to you what's there from my perspective. The power that you already have that just is not acknowledged just yet. And I can show you the power you already have so that you can utilize it to your best ability. So I'm not telling you something that's not already in play, that's not already real. We just may not consciously be aware of it. So I just show you how to synchronize all of your elements together so that you can make more money. Because more money just requires you to synchronize more of your elements or more of your planets, more of your zodiac signs. That's all it is. You just have to synchronize more. So when I show you how to synchronize those, that's all. That's all. That's all. How much would it cost for the synchronization? Okay, so if you just wanted specifically a house reading, so for those, like, if you just wanted a reading, okay, what about this money shit? Or what about my relationship? What about my religion? Or what about my dreams? If you just want like a specific reading, and that's it, you just want a specific question asked, then I'd give that to you 25. It'd be half of 50. Boom, 25. And I can describe to you your whole, this is how you make money, this is how you had make money, this is how you can make money. We can just explore the whole dimensions of money, relationship, dreams, whatever it is. So if you want individualized readings, 25. It's just half of the 50. It's just then double the 50 for the full reading. It's all mathematics. Why could it, that don't take too much labor on my part. So I'm not going to charge crazy prices. It don't take too much labor on my part to do that. So again, the prices are based on labor, like everywhere else, right? Every business, they charge you based on how much labor it takes to get this done. That's all of this. That's all of this. I miss those live stream in the streets. That's funny. That's funny. I know, because ain't nobody else doing it. I know, and they not doing it. It hasn't been done, and it ain't gonna be done because ain't nobody gonna be out there like that. They not. Y'all saw me fucking. I wasn't shaving or nothing. Just letting my shit grow, letting my hair grow. You know what I mean? I was doing all that. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna show you their primitive nature. I showed you my most primitive nature. It's already recorded. So, like, if I did it again, it wouldn't happen again because I already mastered it. So if I was doing live streams in the streets again, I would be more clean cut now. You know what I mean? It's because I done upgraded my degrees. You know what I mean? So that's why it don't happen anymore. Like, you're not gonna ever see me in those positions no more because I mastered it. Because I actually went through it. You know what I mean? I had to go through it, and then get over it, right? Go through it, get over it. All right, where we at? You won't hear this real talk anywhere else? Nah. Where can we find your number to text you? My number will always be in the description of any video. But if you need a number, 702-530-1197. 702-530-1197. That's the text. Email Asha, A-S-H-A, at asharenew.com. ASHARENU. asharenew.com or Asha at asharenew.com. That. So text, email. Simple as that. So hit me up anytime, whenever. We can get the job done. You know what I mean? I got Cash App, I got Venmo and all that instant. It's already done. And you know what I mean? And we talking within an hour. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? It's just that simple. All right. I'm tiny, but people back down from me because it's all about the invisible forces. That's why size don't matter. Because, you know, it's the ancient question, does dick size matter and all that shit? Size don't matter when you're working with invisible forces. Size does not matter when you're working with invisible forces. If you master invisible forces, you can be 5 foot and pulling any type of women, or a woman pulling any type of man. It doesn't matter. Invisible forces is where it's at. That's how you win in life, invisible forces. All right. Legit donating to this channel, support, absolutely. So anybody want to donate, just do it through the Cash App or the Venmo. And if you don't have Cash App, you don't have Venmo, then just use PayPal. All that can be found in any description of any video. So any support, if you want to sign up for the website, it's a subscription base. You can either do it by the month, by the year, or lifetime. You know what I mean? It's all there. $5 a month. I keep the prices low, $5 a month. So for $5, you got access to 300 posts, and I'm constantly updating. You know what I mean? Year, $60. $60, you get access for the whole year. $240, you get access to the site forever. So if you want access to all the updates, because the site ain't going nowhere, it pays for itself, so it's going to be here forever. It ain't going nowhere. So the next 10 years, it'll be thousands of posts. So if you want it for life, then you get the lifetime. So I made it for anybody, depending on whatever your financial situation is, you can get this game. So I set it up that way. Whatever, if you don't want to buy no services, you can just sign up for the website. So I designed it that way, so it don't matter what situation you're in, you can get this game. Cause it's just that deep. You know what I mean? Keep it cheap. Keep the prices low, right? Keep the prices low, except when it's super labor involved. When you want the whole enchilada, then that's the only time. Other than that, we're good. What do you think about the Hebrew Israelite movement? I don't have no comment about no movement because I don't know. I'm not in those circles. I'm not in those circles, so I can't really. And honestly, you know what I mean. People are too soft. You know what I mean. You say something about somebody, then they, you know what I mean. Like I never been the one. You don't see no. There's no videos of me speaking bad about anybody. I don't have no titles, and I'm talking shit about any group, any person. I just never really got into that, which is why I'm still here. You don't. I've been here 6 years, no beef, no drama, other than what I did for myself, because I just didn't really care to engage. Right? I just text you. Yeah, I just got a text, so I'll hit you. I'll hit you back once we're done with this. Don't worry about it. We all good. So again, it's all about speed. You're paying for speed. With me, you're paying for speed. You're paying for something that you're going to get same day. You want same day service, you're paying for speed. So if I do charge, if you don't, it's just too much, you're paying for speed. You're getting that shit same day. All right? Especially if it's live. If it's pre-recorded, then it's going to take a couple days because I have to actually put that work in. So if you want to pre-record it, it's going to take a little long because I have to sit back and calculate. But if I'm doing it live, I'm more so just interpreting it, and you're writing it down. So if I interpret and write down, it's just all about labor. It's just all about labor. All right. I went to the dam on my own for 3 days. My mates have been lame, messy sellouts over the years, and I wasn't missing out. I went to the dam. What do you mean by the dam? Yo, are you talking about Devil's Gate Dam? Is that the dam or are you talking about something else? I don't know what dam you're speaking about. But we're going to get out of here. We'll be here a couple more minutes. You know what I mean? I just wanted to give y'all, this is me on my best day, Tuesday. Just give y'all an example of planetary energies. So whatever your lucky day is, whatever your best day is, then now you know. Or if you don't know, come to me, I'll figure it out, right? Let me do all the hard work, and I'll just let you. All you gotta do is sit back and cool. You know what I mean? I do all the hard work. I'm the laborer, right? I do all the hard work. I do the mathematics, and I just give you the best part. That's how it's set up. Let me do the hard work for you. You know what I mean? So when I give it to you, it's tangible, it's understandable, and you can apply the techniques. All right. You sound like you're from the UK. Well, I'm from Detroit, and there's a connection. We don't have to get into the history, but depending on your vibe, depending on your vibe, that determines how you are perceived. I feel the occult is the reason why I look the way I look, why I speak the way I speak. All this, other than what you inherit from your parents and your ancestry and all that. So other than what you inherit, what you see in terms of what has been built by me, by my own hands and by my own mind, that's what you see. So you see the inheritance, but what you see in front of you is refinement built from the occult. This is what the occult do for you. You know what I mean? It allows you to just have conversations like this in a constructive fashion that anybody who tunes into this frequency will be elevated, because I'm not speaking anything but facts. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I just prefer to show you and give you examples and tell you to experiment with the laws of nature so that you see it for yourself. So now we can have a different conversation. Once you're in the know, we can have a different conversation. All right? All right. Yeah, November 18th is my birthday. Yeah. Thoughts on mirror gazing. It's like water magic. It's like working with the element of water. It works if you're not afraid, because your face is going to start morphing. Like if you look in the mirror, your face, you're going to see your ancestors. You're going to see animal spirits. You're going to see shit in your face that you're not ready for. But get over that chest. Well, hit yourself in the chest. Get over the fear, and you will see some very interesting things in the mirror. But no artificial light. No artificial light. Make sure you have a candle. No artificial light. No artificial light. But yeah, definitely, yeah. Let's book the reading. Again, For anybody who's serious, want that work, I am available 24/7. That's just how serious I am. You know what I mean? Anybody who want that work, fuck the time, because I know I speak to people all over the world. You know what I mean? So I know there's the time differences is all over the place. So that's why I'm saying I'm available 24 hours, because I know it's different times. Everybody's not on the West Coast, everybody's not on the East Coast, so it's all types of times. So regardless of the time zone that you may be in, I say just feel free to hit me up. It don't matter. Time zone is irrelevant when it comes to the occult, right? Because we synchronize it. Okay. Yeah, you definitely gonna see crazy shit in the mirror. You definitely. Amsterdam has a vibe. Yeah, Amsterdam, because they engage in psychedelics. Any culture that engages in psychedelics is going to be very interesting. What about psychedelics? Like I spoke about psychedelics so much in my past, but I understand everybody ain't been around that long. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't been around when I was talking about psychedelics all the time. So maybe I need to talk about that shit again. All right. So next video, I'll just do a next video. Why, right? But why? Why wait till next video? Just do it now. All right, fuck, I'll do it now. Right? Why wait? It's all about speed, right? Let's speed this shit up. Psychedelic means to materialize your mind, the crystallization of the mind. So when you engage in psychedelics, what you're doing is crystallizing your mind, which is not crystallized because the conscious mind is awake, or the ego is awake, and the subconscious creates your reality. But the ego, the conscious mind, is the filter, because everything that touches the subconscious mind has an effect. So everything, if you didn't have an ego, if you didn't have a conscious mind, everything that you would be receiving will affect your reality. So the conscious mind is a barrier or a filter to filter information that is relevant and information that is not relevant. However, information that is relevant or not relevant is subjective. It depends on what you deem important and what you deem not important. When it comes to psychedelics, and psychedelics I mean psilocybin, mushrooms, LSD, DMT, because like weed is a mild psychedelic. So I mean, you can say like weed is legal now depending on where you are. I know some places it's not, some places it is. It's like weed is a mild psychedelic, so it's like you can tap in with weed, but you gotta put in a lot of work, because weed just takes you to the fence or the gateway, right? So let me just speak about, again, right? Weed takes you to the gateway, but you gotta walk through it. So weed will like put you in theta brainwaves, but you gotta put work in with it. It's not going to take you on a journey. It's going to take you to the gate or take you to the door, but you got to open it up. You got to apply your own mentalism, because weed is a mild psychedelic. So that's what happens with weed. Are most people utilizing weed for that reason? No. Most people are just doing it recreationally, whatever, right? They're just doing it because they want to do it. They just like being high. They want to feel good. But shit, I'm at a point where it don't do that for me no more. It's like weed, that's, y'all, I used to come on smoking my little joints and shit, you know what I mean? Y'all, for anybody who been around, y'all didn't, like, I was real primitive. I wasn't always like this. I was real primitive, smoking and shit, didn't give a fuck, cussing. However, it's different for me now. For now, it's just strictly spiritual. It's like, I don't even care to do it socially anymore. Like, I literally just do it, tap in, and do my work. You know what I mean? I don't care to even be high. It ain't even about how it feels. Like, all that, it don't even do anything. It's just mental at this point, right? It's just like, get in, do this work, get it in. But in terms of more powerful psychedelics, LSD, DMT, because I've done all psychedelics, so let me just make that clear. Because again, I've spoke about this years ago. I just haven't been speaking about it recently, but I've done all psychedelics. So I've had every single experience. It will change your life. And if you're not ready for that, then you're fucked. I'm just gonna put it to you like that. If you're not ready for a change, then don't engage in psychedelics. Psychedelics made it real for me. Because prior to doing psychedelics, all this shit sounded good, but psychedelics showed me, oh, this is actually real. All this stuff that I've been studying and reading, this is it. Like, oh, it's actually real. Because I didn't have the experience, a subjective experience, prior to that in terms of seeing it that powerfully. Of course, you would do a little something with weed, but you have a full-fledged LSD experience, a full-fledged DMT, a full-fledged mushroom experience. It's undeniable. It's like you're not in control. It's taking you for a journey. With a real psychedelic, you're a passenger. Versus with the weed, you're more the driver. You know what I mean? So it just depends on the potency of what you're doing and how much are you willing to change, because it's supposed to, let me not say what it's supposed to do. Let me just say what it did do. For me, let me talk about my own personal experiences very quickly. We don't have to take up too much time here. Mushrooms were more, it made me cry. I don't really, mushrooms is too emotional for me. Mushrooms will have you crying, tears, bawling, faces fucked up because you're just releasing so much that's been pent up. You start thinking about all type of shit. It's an ultimate release. You know what I mean? It's an ultimate release. For DMT, which is only 20 minutes, that's you are completely detached from your physical. For me, you smoke that DMT, then colors become instantly more vibrant. You start looking at some shit, like, for example, let me give you an example. Like, if you were anything, let me just grab this. Just some incense, right? Just a pack of incense. You start looking at some regular shit that don't really influence you at all in regular reality, but the color, let's just say this color, just start looking just wonderful, right? Like a bag of money. You're like, wait a minute, that looks sexy. The colors start looking sexy and shit. But that's just the first level. I'm just speaking my experience. I don't know how it's gonna happen for anybody else. This is what happened to me. So when I smoked, I immediately noticed that colors started looking more vibrant. You feel like you just inhaled some poison. You feel like, oh shit. You become still. Then after the colors become more vibrant, then everything starts moving. Everything starts spiraling. So the walls are now spiraling. Now everything is moving. You're completely still. You're completely still, and now everything around you starts moving. So it ain't nothing still. Everything is moving. There ain't nothing still no more. Then it gets to a point where your eyes is overwhelmed. You gotta close your eyes. You can't do anything physical. You're not gonna be doing anything on DMT. You're not gonna be up walking around like you're smoking weed. You're gonna be on your ass. You're not doing nothing. 20 minutes of doing nothing is gonna completely detach you from your body. You're completely detached. I said, I was seeing the imagery that people, like, if you look up psychedelic art and you see like a row of faces, repetitive faces and all that, you're seeing all that. I was seeing all type of voodoo beings repeated. Hundreds of rows of the same deity and shit. You're just looking around like, what the fuck is this? Then I went back to my childhood home, the very first home I'm like, I don't even remember these memories. I'm starting to remember shit at 1 year old and shit. Like, what the fuck is it? I remember this house. It's a shit like, it takes you to your unconscious mind. It takes you to your memory. It brings up all types of memories that you thought, like, it's crazy, right? 20 minutes though. So after you awake from that 20 minutes, you like, God damn it. You don't cry, but then you start feeling bad after that. Like, whatever you're not doing is gonna really fuck with you. Like, damn, why the fuck am I not doing this with my life? Like, I need to. It's like, whatever you're not doing, whatever you're pushing off, whatever you're holding back, it's just gonna start eating you. It's gonna start eating you. Like, fuck, I don't have time not to do this shit. It's gonna start eating at you. So psychedelics is just gonna eat at you if you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Not based on what's right or what's wrong, based on what you came here to do. If you're not doing what you came here to do, it's gonna really be like, yo, you ain't supposed to be doing this. Get the fuck out of that. All right, so what's next? LSD. LSD is more physical. LSD is more, for me, it's more sensual. LSD is gonna make you, or me, not again, just me. It makes you more horny, more sensual, more erotic. But on a physical level, that's on a physical level. On a mental level, how do I explain this shit? I'm doing my best to explain this. Imagine my head here. You do LSD. Imagine my head here. Then all of a sudden, clouds. This whole room gets cloudy and shit. And imagine this advanced technology that's able to, like, imagine a beam of light coming to my head, and the light goes this way. So you got a beam of light coming here, and it goes this way. And that beam of light then projects images. Like a whole universe is being, like Star Wars technology, you know how they can just press a button and the person projects. You have a whole projection based on a little device or something that's like that. It's a beam of light, and it's a beam of light, and you see this projected you can see your fucking mind. You can see your mind fucking projected through a projector and shit. Like, it shit is I've never seen anything like that. I compare it to you being in your divine mind. That LSD takes you to your divine mind. That's what I feel. That was my experience. So, what is the point of all that? It's just to show and prove to yourself that this is real, the occult is real. That's what it did for me. Psychedelics proved that the occult was real for me, because after having those experiences, there was no denying it. There was no denying this after those experiences. I could have denied it before, but after you have the real experience, there's no denying it. So that's all it is. So if you're still on the edge of, is this real or is this fake, then try some psychedelics. If you already know that this is real, then the psychedelics just more so take you further into the reality. However, these things are not easy to get, so none of these things are ever things that I did on a continual basis or a lot. I didn't do any psychedelic a lot, because again, this is not things that you just have access. Or maybe you do have access to it, just depends on who you are and what your connections are. I didn't have any connections. So when I did do it, I didn't know I was gonna do it. I didn't, like the day I woke up, it's not the day, I didn't know that that would be the day I did psychedelics. Without the days I did psychedelics, that same day I woke up, I did not have it in my mind that I was gonna do that. It just happened throughout the course of the day. So all psychedelics came to me, but I had studied it first. So when I actually came upon LSD, I had already thoroughly studied it. So LSD didn't even come into my life till after I had already studied it. I was like watching people's experiences on YouTube, studying it. What does an LSD mean and all that? I was doing the technical studies. And it wasn't until I finished the technical studies that it actually manifested. So I don't know if that has something to do with it, because you are putting your mind in that direction. But that's how it happened for me. Like, I literally was very knowledgeable of psychedelics and what they do before I ever had an experience. All right, so that's just how it worked for me personally. That's just my personal experience. All right. Are you familiar with organized gang stalking? I mean, I've heard the term before. I guess it has something to do with people watching your home or something. I guess it's something of that nature. I guess a gang is watching you. They know where you live. I guess they know what car you drive, and they make you feel uncomfortable with some shit. I think it's something of that nature. But you let me know. Yeah, look like that. Just making sure I got all these questions. Fighting in your dreams and you can't move your arms to fight back. Is mastering kicking ass fighting back? Fighting back in your dreams is a must? I guess you're talking about like sleep paralysis. Like when you're unable to move Because when you experience sleep paralysis, it's like you're conscious, but you can't move because your spirit has not entered your body yet. So your consciousness has entered into your body before your spirit. See, sleep paralysis just acknowledges that our spirit animates our body. Because when a person is asleep, they're more heavier than when they're awake. It's the same person, but when consciousness and spirit is within that person gets lighter. You can literally pick up a person. When they're awake, you can pick up most people. Most people can pick up most people. Oh, just go up to somebody's chest, pick them up. That's consciousness and spirit. But when you take out the consciousness, you take out the spirit, it's gonna be heavy. That same person is gonna be heavy as fuck. Like, damn, this can barely hold these motherfuckers if they're not conscious. Because without spirit and without consciousness, there's just flesh and bone. So spirit and consciousness actually lessens the gravitational pull. All right? So when it comes to your dreams and fighting sleep paralysis, it's more of a, you could say, a lunar thing. You have to enhance your lunar energy. Because whenever you're dreaming, you're doing anything where you're not physically active. So when you're dreaming, you're not physically active. When you're meditating, you're not physically active. So whenever you're doing something that doesn't require physical activity, more emotional, mental energy, then you have to deal with lunar energy or feminine energy. Because that energy rules over those domains, the domains where there's no physical effort being exerted. It's all internal projection, and that energy is being gathered internally. So that's all lunar energy / feminine energy. So you have to enhance that if you're dealing with anything passive. And when it comes to defense, so all that's passive defense with lunar energy. All right. So we'll get out of here. So a few more minutes. Do I have to be highly experienced in order to have effective rituals, or is self-confidence and assurance, conviction enough? You got to be highly experienced. Just have your foundational point. Because you have to gain experience, right? You can't be highly experienced without gaining experience. But in order for you to gain experience, you have to have a foundation. Because it is through the foundation that you gain the experience. So the foundation is just the occult science. So to be familiar with the 10 planets will be useful. To be familiar with the 12 zodiac signs will be useful. To be familiar with all things occult will be useful, because those are your tools that you will be using. Now, how you synchronize those tools is up to your own creativity. But you at least have to be aware of the tools you have to work with. So it's less about experience and more about foundation. Make sure your foundation is concrete so that when something does happen to you, you know how to identify it. So let's just say a spirit did project themselves to you. If you don't know that was a green spirit with red eyes, and it's like you remember the whole imprint. If you're not familiar with what that is, then it's not going to lead to anything. You know what I mean? Again, it's not likely that a spirit is just going to have a English conversation with you. They're going to speak more so with imagery and through your unconscious and subconscious. So you have to be very aware of what's going on inside you more so than outside. So make sure your foundation is strong. All right, make sure your foundation is strong. How to maneuver within the matrix, the more conscious you get, it happens naturally. The more conscious you get, then you're going to navigate life based on your level of consciousness. So the more conscious you become, and more conscious means more self-aware. The more self-aware you become of your own abilities, your own tools, which you already have access to regardless of whom or what, because your natal chart tells you what you have access to regardless of whom or what. Your natal chart is not based on what's going on in your life. That's your progress chart. That's your transits. Your natal chart is powers you have access to regardless. All you have to do is wake them up. That's why it's so it's like there is no secondary information you can have other than your natal chart, because that's telling you your own secrets that you can always tap into at any time in your life, because this is what you were born into. It shows you what you were born into. Then when you get deeper, then you start studying, well, what's going on with me right now? Then that's the progress chart. Who am I right now versus who was I when I entered into this world? What powers did I have coming into this world versus what powers do I have access to now? And what powers am I receiving from the outer planets, which are the transits? All planets are constantly giving blessings as well as curses depending on your level of consciousness. So for those with less levels of consciousness, they're going to receive the negative ends of the planetary energies because they're not balanced in structure with their emotional energy. So they're going to be drawn to the negative influence, versus the ones who are more conscious, they're going to be drawn to the positive influence, right? Doing meditation will naturally make you more conscious. The purpose of meditation is to become more self-aware of what is already going on within you. So yes, the more you meditate and discover what's already occurring, what patterns have you inherited from the universe, which you find through your natal chart or through meditation. So for those who are not into astrology, you have meditation, right? You have dream yoga, you have sciences to explore your unconscious mind. Whatever tools you use to explore or to become more self-aware, that's what you need to do. These are all occult technology. This is occult technology to expand your self-awareness, because self-awareness is where your power is found. So confidence, self-confidence, self-assuredness, all this is all coming from inside. You have to synchronize your internal planets together as one system, a solar system. Create the solar system or the chakra system. How well you manipulate your chakra system is determining your success in life. How well do you manipulate your portals, your vortexes that we call chakras? That's why I told you about chakras. You can do more than just balance your chakras. I told you that days ago. You can do more in the video Secret Codes. I told you can weaponize your chakras. You don't have to just be balancing your chakras. You can actually project energy from them instead of keeping them balanced. They're just not going to teach you the warship of the chakras. You can go to war with chakra magic, but of course you're not going to learn that. No one's going to teach you that. Why would they teach you how to overthrow them? They're not going to teach you, well, this is how you overthrow us. Of course, that's going there now. You can learn about love and light all day, because that ain't going to take them out of power. So they don't care how much you know. However, if you are gaining information about how to take them out of power, they're not going to reveal that to you, because that's just how those type of people operate. They're fear-based. Anything that threatens their position, they want to destroy it, right? So they're not going to give you an avenue to overthrow their throne, right? It's just not going to happen. That's why it has to come from within. If you're waiting for someone to teach you, if you're waiting for someone as sincere as me to come through, you're going to be waiting forever. It's just not going to happen. However, if you're pulling from within, you don't have to wait on anybody or anything. You just pull it from within. But it takes time to gather your consciousness of who you really are. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you are dedicated, then, it's going to happen eventually if you keep putting in that work. It take a while. Again, I've been there 6 years. To look at my very first YouTube video and look at me now. And you can see the alchemy. You can see it. Look at my very first video, not the very first one, because I was putting out binaural beats before I even showed my face on YouTube. Just letting it be known how into sound I am. If you look at my first 10 videos, they are not even binaural beats, they're isochronic tones. I wasn't even showing this channel was originally supposed to be strictly sound. My first videos are just sound. But look at me speaking, my first videos speaking, and look at me now. That's why I documented it. I literally started my YouTube channel after I did, you can say, the darkest ritual of my life, right? The occult ritual and all that stuff. That's what made me start a YouTube channel, after I did an occult ritual that opened up portals, real shit. This is even why I even opened this route. I had no intentions of ever doing a YouTube channel prior to me activating occult powers. I had no intention of ever teaching anybody anything, getting on camera, doing any of this until I was introduced to the occult by the spiritual energy within myself. Till then, none of this even mattered. So compare my first videos to this video and you ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth putting in 6 years of hard, everyday game? Is it worth it? Just look at me, right? Just look at not my physical, just look at the energy. Look at how I express myself. Look at just how in depth I am able to go. I'm not talking about the physical. Just look at how am I able to express the occult and make it make sense. And you can see for yourself. That's why I wanted to document my hardships and me when I'm not on point so that you can compare it. Oh, I'm not sure if I should invest in this person. Well, look at me then and look at me now. Then that should answer your question, right? Because it's there. I leave it up there for you to observe. You can go back 6 years and look at me and what I was talking about, what I was doing. You can look at it. It's already there. Compare it to now. In terms of the information, the depth, how secretive it is, how powerful it is, and you can see for yourself. I've been on here almost 180 minutes. I wasn't doing nothing like this in 2014, in 2013. It was not happening. So the proof is in the pudding. All right. We're gonna get out of here. 175 minutes. Till then, we out.